Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. First time I'm doing this, man. I'm actually doing this from the laptop. So I guess when everybody comes in, you guys can let me know how the audio is doing and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna see if this flows and operates and goes the way that it normally does. Looks like the microphone is working. Looks like the audio is working. Kind of like the setup, man. If everybody joins in and this goes well, I might keep doing this. We shall see. We shall see. Um, Right now it's a Monday night in the United States. I try to come on early enough so everybody could get on, but you never really know how Monday is gonna work. People getting ready for the work week. People getting ready for uh, kids still going to school, all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to stay on, try to keep this popping. Looks like we got a thumbs up so far. Looks like we got a couple people joined in. Thank you all for joining in. Appreciate it. Let me know if the audio is clear in the chat. Y'all, put the chats up. Let me, know if my audio is clear. And I'm gonna get this Don Dorma Golden Child lit up. So do whatever's necessary. Give me the thumbs up. Give me whatever kind of feedback to let me know that I'm loud and clear. And then we'll get into the proceedings this evening. Carlos said you good. Appreciate it, homie. Appreciate that. I call this Monday Night Raw because after the New Wave had the conversation with Steve Saka, kind of made me think about a few things. There was a couple things that was going on within that show that made me kind of want to, kind of talk my talk and get some things off my chest. So, but I think I'm gonna get some feedback from you guys since you guys are starting to come in now. Callie, what up? Peter, what up? Hey man, it's been a minute since I've been on live. I know it's been a while since I've been on live, but I mean, dude, I've been busy. Like I literally just got home right now. Like when y'all saw me, if y'all saw on Instagram when I was trying to do a little quick feed to let everybody know that I was gonna go live, I had just really walked in the door. You see, I had to change my clothes and all that kind of stuff, man, because I didn't want to get my clothes all smoky. I haven't stopped moving, so having the time to really just sit down and be able to do a live for myself has been nearly impossible. So this is my chance to kind of get back in the swing of things. I hope y'all miss me. I hope y'all cared that I was away. I hope y'all glad to have me back for a moment. So I appreciate you, Peter. Appreciate that. It's just been a lot, man. It's been a lot to kind of take in and deal with. And honestly, when it comes to cigars, man, I haven't been, only time I've really been doing any kind of shows if I'm doing shows with other people. I did the show with Cigar Head Fred. Of course, I did Cigars Unbanded. Shouts out to Cigars Unbanded. If you guys want to subscribe to Cigar Head Fred, Cigar Head Fred TV, if you guys want to subscribe to Unbanded, go check out, subscribe to those cats. Great show. Have fun doing that. I had a lot of fun doing that. And then you saw with the infamous crew, we did the live with Steve Saka, and which was kind of the catalyst. And so this is the post Saka show. So that's kind of what I was doing this for. Trying to get this bad boy lit. Give me a sec. So as far as the vintage cigar, man, I kind of been on the back burner for myself. I kind of put myself on the back burner and this channel on the back burner. You haven't watched the Saka live? Why not, man? I thought everybody would have hopped on the Saka live, man. I thought, that show did well. It did well, but I'm kind of surprised at how the show went. I'm kind of surprised at the atmosphere of the show. I'm kind of surprised at the feedback. I thought it was going to be a bit more intense. I mean, that is the top dog. It is the GOAT. It is Steve Saka. Yeah, it's good energy for Cigar Head TV, man. Fred is a good dude, man. Good dude. It's on deck, man. 3 hours though. You know how it goes with the infamous shows, man. Those shows are always 3 hours. I don't think I'm gonna go 3 hours for this live right now. So y'all don't have to worry about that. Anybody that's in right now, hit the like button. Thank you very much. Get it out here. Share to the people. Share to everybody. Let everybody know it's out there. He said, I love Saka. Want to smoke and fish with the man. Right. And for me, it's kind of an interesting thing. Like it's a lot that I want to go into based on that. And I'm gonna work this as a show, and I'm gonna get into all those details in just a moment. My homie Steven in here. What does Steven say? Back in Portland. I'm catching the live. That's what's up. Boy, you bouncing all over the place, man. Shouts out to Portland too. Always glad to see you on, man. Always glad to see you up in here, homie. All right, so we got 12 people in here. I know some people are going to be lurking. I know some people are going to be traveling and not going to be in a place where they can actually respond. But for those of you that are in the chat, that are able to chat, I want y'all to give me some feedback. Just based on me as a personality doing live streams, doing reviews, running a channel, being a part of a collective, which is the New Wave, the infamous Smoke Show, being affiliated with people like the Unbanded Crew. Overall, just in passing, when people are talking about this channel and when they're talking about me as a person running this channel, what has been the feedback that you guys have heard about me? Good or bad? Like what do people talk about when they're talking about the vintage cigar? And I kind of want like an unbiased, perspective of what I project for my channel and what I project as a human being. I'm really curious about this. Because some things have been brought to my attention, not just about myself, but just about the cigar community in general, about, the affiliations and things like that. So I really want to know, not just from my viewership, but for people who are associated, what have you heard? Like if you mentioned the vintage cigar to somebody, what do they say? Oh man, I heard about him and I heard this, that, and the third, or I never watched his channel. I don't really know much about dude. He's kind of corny, like, oh dude, I love his show. I like when he talks. What has been the consensus of the vintage cigar and EKB been from your experience? Just with the people you've been around, just being in social media groups, being in comment sections, whatever, because I can't see and hear what you guys hear. I just hear shit about your mic. You see, I'm using this laptop, so I fixed the mic. That mic thing is an issue. It was an issue, and I was getting killed for the mic, bro. I think it's funny too, but it wasn't just the mic, man. It was really the technology that had a lot more to do with it than anything, especially like with the with the internet service that I was using, trying to go through my phone and trying to go through the headphones and all that. It was causing issues. So, all right, that's one thing, and that's absolutely fair. So I'm glad you brought that up. That is absolutely fair, Steven. When am I coming back stateside? I'll address that in just a moment. I'll get to that in a little bit. I'll do that as a little sidebar in just a bit. What the fuck did you do to your head? Are you rocking the Nelly? No, I'm not rocking the Nelly, man. It's a long story. It's a little bit of a blemish that is unsightly, and I'm cool. I'm okay. I didn't knock myself out this time. I didn't do anything like that, so I'm all good, man. I'm safe and sound. The mic shit is funny though. I keep reading that comment. Everyone I know loves your content and swag. I appreciate you, Peter. Haven't heard anything negative. See, this is what's fascinating though, man. It's like I'm human. It's impossible. It's nothing negative being said, and it's only been one time that I can kind of speak on this for myself, right? I know there was when kind of early in the channel, and Cass is going live on Instagram, and a homie came to me. He's like, "Yo, man, some guys was talking about you on the live, And I went in and popped in, and they were joking on the bandana, and it was like, "Oh, this dude corny me. I know he ain't banging no sets. I know he ain't a gangster. That's kind of weird that he's doing this shit. Whoop de whoop de whoop." And I was kind of glad to hear that. I was kind of glad because it's certain things that people won't say to you in person that I feel like they should be able to say to you in person. But honesty is a tough thing. Like being straightforward with people is a tough thing, and it's really hard. It's really hard to just give your honest opinion of somebody. You don't know, it might change. You might not necessarily be trying to be derogatory. You might not necessarily be trying to be mean. You might not be being hateful. But honesty is key. But it's not easy because everybody has feelings. Everybody has emotions, and there's a thing called tact, and it's the way that you deliver things. So that's kind of interesting, man. Rocking the Nelly is still funny, man. Definitely good content and swag. This is from Anthony Smiley. Good at recognizing and responding to your audience. Great show. That's good feedback, and that matters to me, man, because I really try to go back and forth with y'all because there is no vintage cigar without people following and liking the channel and giving feedback and all that. And you guys know I talk about that all the time. So I'm glad that's actually being said. That means a lot to me on a positive note. So that means a lot. Carlos is saying, all my boys, and I love your channel because you tell it how it is. And that's part of what I want to talk about here, man, because I'm hoping that's going to, be a good thing. That's a through line for the show right now, is telling it like it is. That's why I call this Monday Night Raw this time. But I'm kind of wondering, do I need to censor myself a little bit? Do I need to check myself some? And I'll get into why, but I wanted to get y'all feedback first and foremost. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. Thanks to everybody that's joining in right now. He said, nah, dog, I'll see it in person. VA all the way. 2 up, 2 down. I can't do it with the cigar, but shouts out to VA. Mad VA love in here. Let's see. Your videos and Pick Jimmy are the most out of the box channels where the cigars are almost secondary and everything else. Cigar Head Fred as well, after you guys introduce him. Fred was around, around the same time that I started, if not just before. Which was funny was because I was making a big deal with Fred, telling him like we needed him back into the community, especially if I wasn't doing reviews. I'm glad he's back and doing his thing. But I did kind of want to make it a point like to talk about everything that goes around with cigars and the environment that's being, with cigars. Because that's, when you go to a lounge, that's what you do. You're smoking cigars with your friends, and you're also like being a part of that conversation, and everybody like to talk and chat. DJ is gonna tell it like it is. That's an opinionated dude, and that's kind of a part of what's going on. I'm not gonna put DJ on the spotlight here because I want to do this, as the Vintage Cigar Show. But having that kind of dialogue and that open dialogue with the channel, and not just being, like, hey, we have the Don Durma Golden Child. This is from Steve Saka. It's a completely different blend from your normal Don Durma that was previously released. And I don't want it to just be that. As much as I love cigar content, y'all know I love cigar details. I love the science and nerd out about it too, but I also like just being a part of the community. So yeah, I feel you on that. So what have you heard? This is from Sipping Sticks. What have you heard? What sparked this? I think the community we have in the Discord is very honest. I've reached out to a few guys one-on-one and have gotten good and bad. Have you tried that? And it's not anybody in the Discord. It's not anybody in the Discord. And and I'm kind of glad you did that. And because I kind of go back and forth with certain people, but I haven't asked anybody specifically. And honestly, it's not really what I've heard, and that's part of the reason why I'm asking everybody now. You guys are going to be, my sounding board. You guys are going to be, the ones who are kind of helping me out. There is a catalyst to why I'm having this discussion. Part of this was the Steve Saka interview. Part of this was a conversation I just had with some family members recently. Part of this is just, the discord that I've been in discourse I've been having with people in the cigar community. And just some of the feedback. One thing that I will say about this is just for the infamous crew. There's been kind of feedback that we are kind of like, the mean girls of the cigar community, that we are starting things. And you guys know that there are people, it's kind of hard to say people plural, but there's been some instances where I've been in drama as far as with my uh, personality, with a couple other personalities that is in the cigar community. You guys know who that is. I'm not trying to stir anything up, but there's a couple brands that that has been in the community and in the industry that have said they really don't want to deal with the infamous crew. They don't want to deal with us because we're mean and because we're too opinionated, and and we've kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. And there's been some instances where people are in community chat groups and things like that, where we've walked in and find out that people have been discussing a lot of things behind our backs, and in a negative way. Now, I'm not necessarily going to say that I've been involved in a lot of it, but I have been involved with certain things. So I know that certain people are saying that that's kind of the opinion, that we are really overly opinionated. We're mean to cigar brands and things like that. And I know there's certain people that I've rubbed the wrong way just for giving my opinion. But I just want to make sure that I'm checking myself. So I'm going to get more into that and be a little bit more clear and less vague about it in just a second. Smiley said, definitely don't change anything. Cal said, never censor yourself. Say what you think. And, that's kind of the lane that I try to go in. Bully said, the channel seems genuine. I watch a lot of channels, and some seem to be more of a sales channel. And, Bully, that is a big part of why I wanted to start this. That's some of what I want to talk about here. And I don't have anything to sell. I'm not making any money off of this. This is just me hanging out with you guys, having a great time, and trying to have good conversations about cigars, about everything that surrounds cigars. So I think I'm being genuine, but you don't know how that always translates. So I'm glad you said that. So thank you for adding that in. Peter said, we are here for the infamous group and all the adjacent people in is the great cigar community. Keep being you. Man, I don't know how to be anybody but me, man. I really don't. That's the but everybody has to have a way that if there's situations going on around you, right? If things are happening around you, and if you're getting in a lot of trouble and people are getting mad when they're around you, you got to stop and say, well, I'm the common denominator here. So I need to figure out how to adapt myself and to make sure that I'm not being the one, because if I'm messed up, I gotta find out how to correct myself. Nobody can do it but me, and I gotta be aware of whatever flaws that I have and how I treat other people, all that kind of stuff. That's really important. So I feel you on that. Said there's a Discord. Yeah, there's so many communities between Discord, between Reddit, Facebook, Instagram. Like everybody got their chats and stuff like that. And it's a lot of stuff happening, man. There's a lot of stuff going. I'm not involved in everything, for sure. Fred, what up, man? I was just shouting you out, homie. What up? And see, Peter M said, let me know the company so I won't spend my hard-earned money. And see, that's it's a part of me that like I get that, but I don't think I got that much weight, homie. And I wouldn't want to affect anybody's dollars. But I think that's why certain people are mad. I think that's why certain people are mad, because I think I'm really gonna get into the details in a minute. But I think there's some of the people that are in the communities and in the industries that are running these things, and they need us as cigar reviewers. They need us as influencers, and they need us as personalities to hawk them. That's why you got these cigar of the month clubs. That's why you got these people sending out boxes and things like that. That's why people love the reviews, but at the same time, they want you to say only good things. They don't want you to say anything negative, because that can affect their sales. But then, if you do say something negative, like these guys aren't experts. They don't know what they're talking about. They're not really smart like that. They're just, people, sitting behind the screen and talking. They're just talking heads. But I'm just like, if that's the case, then, why utilize us? You know, why are you watching the channels? Why are you watching the lives? Why are you why are you there if you don't think we're anything that's beneficial to the cigar industry? And if that's the case, then why do we have, people who like our shows? Why do you have people who follow the shows? Why do you have people who like our Instagrams and ask us for feedback and ask us for information if we're so oblivious to how everything works and how cigars go and how opinions work? Peter, what up? Let's see. I don't know what's longer, the telescope or the stogie. The telescope for sure, because this ain't a long cigar. What's really long is how winded I am, long-winded. Avengers Assemble, what up, man? Thanos up in the place. Wakanda. Let's see. Steven, my dog, showing love to Steven. What up, what up? Let's see. Homie, drop a Discord link. Honestly, I don't know how to do it. So honestly, I haven't invited anybody to Discord. I'm not good at that. So if we have people that are within the Discord, they'll drop that for you. I'm glad you're saying that in here, because honestly I don't know how to do it. I really don't. And I'm not being funny. Y'all name holding weight in the cigar streets, and they don't like it, I guess, but it's a whole crew virtually assisted me and others in the journey in the past 3 years, so F them. But that's what the whole thing was about. That's what the whole thing was about in the first place. It's like, how do you walk people into this? Because when I started with cigars, there was no one there. It was just me going out to little shops and picking up cigars, trying anything from Java, trying anything from Acid, then, Isla del Sol, and then going into CAO, and then trying Fuente, and trying, house blends, and, yada, 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 until I learned what my palate was like. I had to walk into it that way. I had to try many different environments, many different places, trying all the Batolas. Then I had to get online and find the Dr. Joe's, and then I had to find the, Mr. Lanceros, and found Lee Mack and Cowboy and Ron Real, and I can go on and on. Zeal, Cigars Daily, TNT, when they were TNT. I had to find all those things. So it was just in time that once I went on my journey, I was like, yo, well, let me do I Want the Smoke. And that way people can come on this journey with me and kind of learn about cigars as I'm learning about cigars. And then I can tell you all the things that I learned in the past 2 or 3 years. And now that I'm 4 years into this, now you guys are walking with me as I feel like I've become a little bit more seasoned. I still got a lot to learn. There was never a moment where I ever would have thought that I was going to be able to sit down and have a conversation with Steve Saka. I still can't believe that happened. I didn't make any money. I didn't grow anything. Nothing came of this channel other than the fact that I've gotten people that I'm interested in talking to about cigars. And then I've recently met one of the heroes of mine that was in the cigar industry. That's kind of cool. I haven't been able to go to PCA and sit and rub shoulders and talk to John Huber or talk to Nick Melillo or, all that kind of stuff. But I actually had to have a conversation with Steve Saka. That's pretty cool. But, saying that and just kind of giving dialogue around this, there are other people within the industry who have been watching the channel. There's the Robert Caldwells. There is the Michael Herklots. There's John Huber. Steve Saka watched the channel and, got feedback from Oliver from United. And I'm just a regular dude doing this. It's nothing special about me, but I just took the time to kind of work on my passion and to share my passion with y'all. So those are part of the bright sides to it. But in that meantime, I've never shied away from, if I didn't like a cigar, to be like, I can't talk about this because I don't like a cigar. If a brand hasn't, done well for me, there's never been a time where I was just like, I'm not going to be honest about this brand. When I've had issues with brands and cigar a month clubs and stuff like that, I've always said publicly what issues I've had with them or kind of talked about the situation. So I've never shied away from that. But I feel like my honesty is getting me in trouble, kind of, you know, and I don't hold back, you know, but I feel like I'm tactful in the way that I deliver everything. Now, I want you guys to agree or disagree with me. You know, and do I come off harsh? You know, let's say, um, with Timeless Cigars and with what is that? Ferio Tego. I've been very frank and blunt about how I feel about that. Another case in point, Provada Cigar Club. I've had a conversation with Brian, and I've been very frank and upfront about how I feel about his sales tactics, how I feel about his marketing, how I feel about his cigars, how I feel about him as a person. I talked to him and told him everything face to face, how I felt about things. I don't feel like I've ever done that maliciously, like I can't have a conversation with them, or like, you know, just to just throw his name in the mud, just to say, like, you know, nobody buy from them. And, you know, I don't think I've done any of that. I don't think I've done anything malicious on my channel to try to sabotage his brand or anything. But I did want to be frank about how I felt about his cigars, and how I felt about Michael Herklots. Same thing with Caldwell. Same thing with Blackworks. Like, if, you know, Blackbird cigars. It's not something that has moved me in a way that's been positive for me. But I've always said, like, hey, you go out and try this and take a look into it for yourself to see if it works for you, to see if that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial for you, because you can't go solely on my opinion, but this is what I don't like about it. That's the way I've always kind of carried things. But I want to give you guys like a conversation that's off cigars that makes me feel like how blunt and upfront I am. Kind of feel like I can turn people off sometimes. And it's a touchy subject. Y'all know I don't stray away from touchy subjects. It's a real touchy subject. So let me get to some of the comments real quick, and then I'll get into that whole part of the conversation. Hot Dog Water says, cheers, bro, watching the live and smoking the Grand Habano #1. Shouts out to Grand Habano, man. It was cool to talk to the owner of Grand Habano, get into those cigars. I'm glad more people are smoking Grand Habanos. That's for real. I really do like that brand. They surprised me. That's one of those, when I was just getting started, that I just went into a cigar lounge in Fresno. I was in, what is that area? I can't think of the name of the area. It's like a little downtown area. It's not actually downtown though. But anyway, it's a little walkable area, and I went in there and I grabbed a Grand Habano, and I've been a fan ever since. So shouts out to you, Hot Dog Water, for doing that. Hot Dog Water is funny, man. That's a funny name. Cal says somebody dropped that Discord link. Happy to catch you live. It's been a while. Hope you're all good. Seems like everybody in the chat is good, Z. I just wanted to kind of get on and have some, tough talk with everybody here. It's been a while since I've been able to do a live. Hold up, smoke break. I was really hating on this Golden Chow. I don't hate on the Golden Chow anymore, man. I like the cigar. It's not as good as the OG Don Dorma. And I was shocked to hear that Steve Saka said that he likes the Golden Chow more than he likes the original Don Dorma. That shocked the hell out of me. I was not expecting that. And I said that to his face. I'm like, yo, you wildin'. But it is what it is. Let's see. Before the New Age crew, you barely found cigars that were boutique. When I started smoking like 8 years ago, everybody was the old head reviewers, and all the lights were big brands. Yeah. There's some truth to that. There was a little bit of a push for more boutique brands a little bit before us, though. So we can't really take credit for that, but I think we did kind of move the needle a little bit more. I think when it comes to just everybody within the new wave individually, we all kind of kept an open mind to smoking a little bit of everything. We could go to Cavalier, we could do Principal, we're gonna do Padron, we're gonna do Arturo Fuente, and then especially with DJ is gonna do a lot, for the Altadis and general brands, and Romeo and Julietas and all that kind of stuff, because you won't see that as often from me. So I think it's kind of cool that collectively we kind of touched on a little bit of everything. Timeless, Provada, and Caldwell, but I understand it. I really need to catch the live. Well, you here with me, man. George Rico is a great dude. Yeah, man, he's super underrated, man. And I felt like, during the interview, he was kind of like stiff and reserved. And the same thing with Saka, man. And that's part of why I'm doing this. I wonder if people, when they come on to the infamous podcast, I wonder if people are in their ears saying like, hey, be careful with these guys. These guys are really, they're tough. Because I kind of felt like, Saka tensed up. When we were talking to him in the green room, he was cool, calm, and collected. And we were talking about his vacation. And then when the show started, it was like, just talk business. He got really serious. I did love the insight that he was giving as far as, just talking about the metrics of how the cigar industry works and the method on how he was, blending his cigars and how he approaches his cigars and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. As a nerd, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it. But I was also expecting it to be kind of like our conversations that we have with Saka, or our conversations like we had with Marvin from the Bearded Cigar. Like just a little bit more relaxed, just having fun, just kind of talking about the passion. It didn't quite go that way. And I think it's because of certain relationships that he has outside of the infamous crew, and those relationships that he has that they have with us. There was somebody that's close to Steve Saka that was talking like, hey, y'all know that I'm cool with Steve Saka and I can put in a word with him against you guys. And that kind of thing happens. Yeah, it was the Tower District. If you know, you're dead on. It was the Tower District. My man. I do like the Golden Child a lot better. I'm catching up with you guys. I do like the Golden Child a lot better, but the OG Don Dorma is better. And I think the retro hell for both of them, is kind of, but we'll get into that. He said age has helped the cigar a lot. I guess that's what it is, man. Steven said the thing is people don't know how to agree to disagree anymore. That is true. And I want to add on to that, Steven. That's something I want to talk about when I get into this story. Everything ain't for everybody, and we all have our opinions. And like the whole thing behind reviews and behind a discussion is giving your opinion. Now, your opinion can be based on fact. That part matters. But everything is going to be subjective to a degree, especially when you're talking about something that's individual as sports or politics or cigars. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Stephen. We're going to get into that. We're going to delve in and expound on that. Peter M said Saka was drinking. That could have a lot to do with it. Yo, he was going hard on that rye. I didn't expect that. So maybe that has something to do with it. G, what up, homie? Long time no see, baby. Good to see you in here, homie. You and I both know who he's close to and running his mouth. Yeah, but I'm not going there. Sal, what up, man? Enzo is in the spot too. What up, Enzo? Thoughts on Cubans? Pretty accessible here in Canada, but the price make them completely out of consideration for me. And it's not just you with the Cubans. And I'm gonna touch on this real quick, hot dog water. The last live that I did, if you ever get time, go back into my last live before this one. I did a whole big thing on Cuban cigars. I did a big conversation on that. I'm gonna simplify it because I'm not familiar with seeing your name as often, but I love Cubans. I think Cubans are great. There's unique cigars. They have their issues with quality control, and right now, because of everything that's happening in China, because of the hype behind Cubans prices have skyrocketed all over the place. America has the embargo, Australia, Canada, Europe has the price hikes and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's very hard to get your hands on Cubans. There are some Cubans that I absolutely love. If you get a chance to smoke a Cuban, smoke it, enjoy it. But as I talked with Steve Saka, the new Cuban is going to be the Nicaraguan, cigars. The main thing is you want to get your variety, because you're not going to get anything that tastes just like Nicaraguan. You're not going to get anything that tastes just like Honduran. You're not going to get anything that tastes like a Cuban. So the whole thing is just to have love for all the different cigars that are out there. Just don't put Cubans on a pedestal that's even any better than any other cigars. They have their flaws and they have their high points, just like all these other tobacco leaves that are out there. And that's like my little Cuban cigar spill. Goddamn, I wish I could hang, but no doubt, man. Cal, thanks for joining in. Catch the replay, homie. Let's see. Damn, you got to be up at 5 a.m. He said, "No forgives the coffin if you're sleepy, man." I know it all too well. You have a good day, brother. Have a good night, man. Be safe out there. 2 up, 2 down, 757, baby. Agreed. Nothing like a good Bolivar Bellicoso. Yeah, I love a good Bolivar, man. I love a good Partagas. I go in on this all the time, man. I love the Monte number 2 and the Monte number 4. Like that's my jam. I could go in on all the Cubans that I love, Trinidad's and the whole nine, but cost-wise, it's not worth it when it's so much that you can explore right now, unless you can get your hands. If you get your hands on a good Series D, sit back and smoke it. Enjoy it. But yeah, there's that. 757 Newport News. Bad news is up in the place to be too. I'm Chestnut and 79th Street, man. That was my neighborhood in Newport News, not too far away from Mercury Boulevard. So big shouts out to 757. My cousin that I'm about to talk about in just a moment, he actually still lives out there, man. So he was Chestnut and Emma. So like that's my old stomping grounds. I'm BA to the core, man. No doubt, fam. Be safe. Much love, much love. All right, so since the chat's slowing down a little bit, I got kind of caught up. So I was in a group chat today. I was making breakfast this morning, and I'm talking with my cousins back in the States. And just how people send you memes in the group chats and all that kind of stuff. And you guys know the hot topic right now is the WNBA. It's Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Stewie, Diana Taurasi, London, all of these people that are involved with the WNBA. Everybody right now on ESPN, from Stephen A. Smith to Bill Simmons to what's my man name up in Smoke. I don't know why I can't. Matt Barnes, Shanae Ogumake, Kendrick Perkins. Everybody you can think of right now is talking about the WNBA, right? And we're talking about how the Caitlin Clark effect is affecting the WNBA. We're talking about how it's affecting, the way people are watching the WNBA and all that kind of stuff. CK, what up? I see you, homie. So going back and forth with my cousins, to make a long story short, I'm saying that, Caitlin Clark is a good basketball player. She had a great run while she was in college. But the NBA is putting too much power on her to affect the change in the WNBA. They're trying to treat her like she's LeBron James, like she's supposed to come in here and change the NBA. But I'm like, she's a rookie, and going from playing in college to playing in the WNBA, when you're playing against Skylar Diggins, when you're playing against Stewie, when you're playing against Diana Taurasi, when you're playing against Aja, like you're not gonna be able to do the stuff that she was doing in college. They need to give this girl time to adapt to the league to get better. And my cousin is like, yo, she's shooting like Steph. She's the most exciting player that's in the league. She's what the the WNBA is now, and that's why people are watching. I'm like, that's not why I'm watching the WNBA. I just love basketball. But the main thing I'm saying, and this is where it got controversial. It got controversial because I was like, if you look at it, Sabrina Ionescu, Stewie, and Caitlin are the only 3 players that are in this league right now that have major shoe deals with Nike. They have these huge shoe deals. There are people who have other shoe deals, but these are the ones that are getting the Kobe treatment. They're getting the LeBron treatment. They're getting the Kyrie Irving treatment, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, the reality is that Caitlin Clark they're trying to have her as the great white hope right now for the WNBA. And you got people online that are talking about like, oh, you got all these, black girls that are so angry at her and they're beating her up and they're doing all this. I'm like, that's not the case. The women that are in the WNBA aren't mad at her because, she's the great white hope. That's not why they're mad. They're mad right now because she is getting all the push Now they're talking about, changing their transportation. They're talking about, changing how the stadiums work. She's up all over the billboards. And when she first came in, Diana Taurasi was the first one in the league to be like, yo, she's not ready. And see, that's the point that you're making, that they should be happy that no one cared before, is the point that my cousin was making. And I disagree. It's just the hype that they're putting on it right now that's making it, because they're trying to get more into the league. And most of the people who were saying that nobody cared before were the people who didn't watch the WNBA. They were saying all these women can't ball, they can't dunk, they can't shoot, yada, yada, yada. And I don't agree with that. But I'm going to touch on that too. So we brought the racial and feminine aspect into this conversation. So my other cousin was like, yo, I don't believe that, the race has anything to do with it. And I'm just like, that's not true, because I know people are putting this into the conversation. But if you really look at it, Diana Taurasi is a white woman who was the first woman to say, like, yo, she's not ready for the league. They chastised her. They killed Diana Taurasi for saying that. Then they were showing when, Caitlin was coming off, trying to, take that pick, and Stewie set that pick and knocked it to the ground. They showed that like 40 times a day on SportsCenter, right? Charlie, what up? They showed that like 40 times on SportsCenter. Like every time you turn on SportsCenter, you will see old girl getting knocked down. So then when the other player hit her the other day, just, non-basketball play, she shouldn't have done it. She knocked old girl down just because she was frustrated. And then they changed the whole narrative, like, oh, the black women, that are in this are mad, because she's a white girl and da 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 da. And that's not the whole thing. So when my cousin came into it, he was like, my other cousin came into it, he was like, well, I don't think race has anything to do with it at all. And I'm like, fam, you always gonna have that opinion, because you have said. So I'm not even gonna take your opinion on that. So me saying that to my cousin, he got his feelings hurt. He was really mad at me. He was like, yo, E, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I'm like, dude, the reason why I'm saying that is I'm not taking a dig at you because you're my fam. I'm being honest with you because you said you've never experienced racism in your life. We come from the same town. We only 4 years apart. We look alike. We got the same friends. We dealt with the same girls, from black girls to white girls to everybody that's in the neighborhood. Like we got the same family unit. Your mama is my aunt. I grew up in your house. You were best friends with my brother. Like, we family. Like, I know you've experienced racism. So for you to turn a complete blind eye to that, it's crazy to me. My cousin is mad at me, y'all. He is hot with me, y'all. He's hot. Like, he's pissed with me. He's like, man, how would you say that? You ain't say that about our other cousin. Why would you say that to me? And I'm like, I'm saying that just based on who you are as a person. You said to me that you've never experienced racism. So if you've never experienced racism, when it was right here in your face, how are you going to tell me about the dialogue for racism that's surrounding Caitlin Clark and surrounding Asia Wilson and surrounding the WNBA when you don't have any kind of metric to base what racism is? To you, it doesn't exist. So why would I try to have this conversation with you? Let's just get it back to basketball. Let's just get it back to how the basketball is being played right now. So Tip Top said it's just Jordan rules. She'll either break or make herself a legend, depending on how she handles it. Jordan dealt with the same thing, and he came into the league. Jordan got beat down for 3 years. He got beat down for longer than that. Jordan was getting, but that 3 year period that you're talking about was crazy. And that's and I brought the same thing up to my, to my cousin, because he was talking about she just like Steph, and he was like, she was the number one pick in the draft, so she is everything to the league. But I'm just like, yo, even when Wembanyama had time in the league, Steph had time in the league. They beat Steph up for a long time. They beat Steph up. Not everybody's gonna be LeBron James. Not everybody's going to be 6'8", 200 plus pounds. It's not going to work like that. And she needs the time, just like you said, Greg, that she needs that time to get, beat up a little bit and to learn to persevere. And Chinea Gwumake, if you guys don't follow Chinea Gwumake on Instagram, go follow her. She just did a video when she was talking about how she went through it in the league. She dealt with it with Candace Parker. She dealt with it with Skylar Diggins. And she was pointing out how all these people, when they were rookies, they got the hard picks. They got the hard fouls. They got beat up. And it didn't get the same coverage in the media that Caitlin Clark is getting. And that right there, people, is the difference. It's the media coverage. They're making Caitlin Clark the great white hope. And I understand why she's doing it. She's flashy. She's the only person in the WNBA right now consistently, not the only one doing it at all, but the only one consistently shooting from 30, 35 feet and making it look easy. But what about the rest of her game? She's a point guard that can't pass. She doesn't play defense. She's not able to follow the plays yet because she's a rookie. Allow this girl to develop before y'all try to bet the whole, marketing budget on the WNBA right now. You got Asia, who is the current NBA champion right now. She's been the best player for like 2 years in the WNBA. Why not put the focus on her? Like, it's just crazy to me that, like, okay, I know why they're doing this with her, and I know why they're hyping this girl up, but it's a bubble. It's going to expand and it's going to explode in just some time, because if she can't hack all the pressure that she's getting right now, she's getting pressure from endorsements. She's getting pressure from the media. She's getting pressure from the NBA. She's getting pressure from the WNBA. She's getting pressure from fans. If she can't take all that pressure, she's either going to become a diamond or she's going to crumble. And you're betting a lot of money on this one girl being the savior for a league of people who've been playing basketball for 20 plus years right now. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Roger, what up? So that's part of the reason why I was bringing this up. Let me see what everybody is saying. So we got Innocent is up in the place to be. What up, man? But you have to understand, rookie don't get time to train. Yo, yeah, that's a good point. That girl went straight from college with 2 to 3 weeks right into the NBA. And they're expecting this girl to come in and understand how the WNBA is going to work just off the strength of that. Allow this girl time to develop, man. Even her coach was like, she's not ready. If your coach is saying that you ain't ready, then you need time, yo. Her coach is just like, yo, she's not there yet. She don't understand how to play the game yet. Her own coach. And that's a tough thing to say. Your coach is a woman. Your coach is a white woman. But your coach is also a seasoned basketball player and a seasoned basketball mind that's been in this league, that's been going against some of the best basketball players for the past few years. She understands the development that it's going to take to get this girl to where everybody wants her to be by putting her on this pedestal. And we're all naive if we believe that race isn't playing a part in this, if we don't believe that male chauvinism isn't playing a part of this, and if dollars and cents is not playing a part in this. And that's the part that I was trying to get across. I got in trouble because of how frank I am to my cousin, because I was just like, your opinion on race is really not going to work here in this conversation right now, because we need to have a nuanced talk about this. And I was very frank with what I said to him. And, sometimes what you're saying is going to be, abrasive. And in a way that was. Thank you for everybody to hit that like button, too, and kind of follow along with this. I appreciate it, because this is only a part of what I wanted to talk about today. I got 2 cigars, so we're going to roll for a minute. Retro was up in the place to be. He said, what up? Salute, EKB. Glad I could catch the live. I'm glad you on, too, man. I'm glad all of you guys are here. Thank you to everybody. Hit the like button. Thank you all for joining in, adding your comments. He said, the WNBA would be stupid not to. You promote her, then you can promote the other players. People didn't care before. She will allow women to show their skills. Now, this is where I agree and I disagree with that, E. because I agree that they should be utilizing her the same way that the NBA utilized Victor Wembanyama. But when they had Victor Wembanyama, they didn't stop promoting Steph. They didn't stop from promoting Jason Tatum. They didn't stop promoting Luka Doncic, because you can't bet all of that on a rookie player. This girl is new to the game, because if you do that, it's a bubble. If she doesn't play well, like the game she had the other night, they lost by 30. The Indiana Fever is what, like 0-7 or 8 right now? I'm just doing that off the top of my head. Whatever they like, their record is horrible. Their record is horrible. So why would you put that pressure on her to do that and to put the pressure on the league like that? Because it's a bubble. It's just like Bitcoin. Like, everybody can buy into it at first, but if it doesn't hold up, it's gonna crash. And she's on the verge of crashing right now. She scored 3 points the other night. That one 3-point was from a 3-pointer from way out of nowhere. She had to leave by the fourth quarter. She got injured. They were down 30. You can't rely on that right now, and that's where the problem lies in this. So yes, promote her, but then promote the other people that you know that are in this league that can actually hoop. They got hoopers in the WNBA. Like, it's crazy to me, man. And if they put that much effort into showing, Nneka Ogwumike and her skill set and the way she's playing, and with Asia Wilson and showing her skill set and the way she's playing, and they're showing her 20, 30, 40 times a day, like they're showing Caitlin, if they put that much effort in the media to talk about them and to talk about the hype and they will get the same feedback. But they're not doing that. They're putting all of this hope into this one girl that can crack under this pressure. One more said, what up, EKB? Clark is bringing more eyes to the WNBA game than ever. Great players get up, and then we see what they're made of. These ain't college players. These are grown-ass women that don't play. Exactly, homie. That's exactly what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm from Sweet Home, Alabama. Race is definitely a part of it. Yeah, dude. Like, yo, if you've been in Alabama the same way I was in Virginia and North Carolina, you see it on a daily basis. And my cousin grew up just down the block from me. He's seen all of it too. Like, it's out there. Sexism is a thing in America. Racism is a thing in America. Classism is a thing in America. And all of these things play a part in how this media system works and how this marketing system works. All of this plays a part of it. And if you're like, la, 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 it doesn't exist, then we can't talk. We can't talk. If you can ignore the fact that those things are playing a part in this whole thing, we can't have a full conversation about this. We can talk X's and O's all day. We can talk three-pointers. We can talk defense. We can talk all of that kind of stuff all day. We can talk about men versus women, dunking the basketball, shooting the basketball. We can talk about physiques and all. We can talk about all that stuff. All of that matters. But the other side of the game is how much money has been invested in this, how much people are invested in skin color, and how much people are invested in sexuality. All of it matters. And if you try to ignore one of those things, you're missing the big picture. And I don't feel like I'm wrong for saying that. But I know that when you start talking about race, I just know amongst my friends in the cigar community, I know, when the politics and the religion and race comes involved, people get nervous. People get real nervous and they get uncomfortable. But I'm always, y'all come to my live chats because I'm always here to talk about the stuff that can make people uncomfortable. But the reason why I started this live chat off the way that I started it off, because I wanted to see what people actually thought about me and really how upfront and frank I am about things. When it comes to the cigar community, when it comes to race, when it comes to sports, when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, I try to speak my piece. When it comes to how I feel about certain people in the cigar industry, I try to say exactly how I feel about things. But sometimes I wonder if I can go too far. Can I be too honest? And that's the thing that I wanted to utilize that story and that previous start to start. Like, have I been too honest? Do I need to be more like Cigars Daily and smile like every cigar that I tell you about? Like, hey, this cigar is fantastic. It's one of the best cigars that I have, and you should use my book, and you should go out of here and smoke the same cigars that I smoke. But I don't have any money coming in. I don't have a store. I don't have anything to sell. I'm not running a magazine. I'm not. This is the Vintage Cigar. This is EKB TV. And what's the point of me being straightforward if I'm not giving you guys EKB 100%? So if I smoke, you know, Blackbird cigars and I go through cigar after cigar after cigar after cigar, and I didn't like those cigars, I'm gonna tell you straight up and down, I didn't like it. Tip Top Smokers in here. Greg is in here. Greg just sent me a nice box, you know, because he's doing a promotion with, you know, Blackbird cigars. And the first thing that I told him, like, yo, you know, I'm not doing reviews as much as I used to, and I appreciate you appreciating the channel. You know, I'm not a big fan of this brand. I'm gonna be straight up honest about this. If I talk about these cigars, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about these cigars. And I respect Greg because Greg was like, hey, I'm gonna send it to you. Do what you got to do. But anybody that's ever come to me and offer anything from the channel, I tell them straight up how I feel about it. And I've never backed away when it came to Mike with a Cigar Carpenter, talking about Caldwell cigars. He loves those cigars. That is my man. That's somebody that is, when it comes to their palate and how they approach, you know, the cigars and how they approach smoking cigars and breaking everything down. I love Mike's channel. And he and I can go back and forth. I'm like, dude, I long live the king. I don't like it. Long live the queen. I don't like it. Anastasia, I don't like those either. I don't trust them because I don't trust Caldwell. Here, take all of my cigars. You can have that because you will appreciate it because I won't. But when it comes to him still doing a shootout between all these different cigars that are out there, I'm going to watch his channel. I'm going to watch every one of his breakdowns because I respect his palate and I respect his opinion. And I really think the dude understands cigars. And I really think, like, and he is somebody that I respect for just being honest in the way he breaks stuff down. But at the same time, I know I've turned people off. With the amount of effort and the years and the time that I put into the Vintage Cigar, I should have probably, you know, more than, 4,000 subscribers. It's nice that I can get 30 people in here watching me right now. I can get 28 likes. That means a lot to me. But I think more people would probably want to subscribe on and do more work with me because they feel like I'm going to play the game a little bit more. But I don't like playing games. What's the point of me smoking a cigar if I'm not going to tell you guys how I really feel about it? What's the point of me giving a grade to a cigar or giving my opinion at the end of the review if I'm not being honest with you? What do I matter to you if that's the case? What does it matter to me? You know, if I'm just trying to bullshit you guys just to get more cigars or to get onto somebody else's channel or to get more subscribers and to get more likes, like what? That's some bullshit. Yeah, rest in peace to Big Larry Allen. Shouts out there. Yeah, if you know, you know. I just read that. Yeah, you know what it is. But the crazy thing is, this is my cousin denying that reality. This he looked like me. Like literally, he physically looks like me. Like if you saw me and him standing side by side, you either think he's my brother or he's definitely my cousin. That's how much we look alike. We only 4 years apart. And he's seen the same stuff that I seen. He went through the. I've told y'all stories about the stuff that I've been through growing up in the South. Like I told y'all the stuff that I saw, and I know he saw it too. So for him to be like, la, that's not what's affecting right now. It's like, come on, that's bullshit, yo. We can't talk like that. Greg said, be yourself, be honest, no reason to do it any other way. My man. That's why I rock with you, homie. My man. How do you feel about Black Box Cigar Club? I wanted to subscribe to them, but I couldn't find anything on Reddit. First heard of them from someone in a local spot. Bully, I wear this shirt because he sent me a box, from his from his Cigar the Month Club, and he and I have been meaning to work together for quite some time. I rock with Black Block Cigar Club because I love the way he curates his boxes, and I love the fact that he's trying to shine light on, he's trying to shine light on minorities and blacks that are in the cigar industry. And I'm gonna be really frank. Yeah, okay, y'all gotta tell me. Y'all want me to be really, really honest about this interview I had with Steve Saka? Like, do y'all want me to really get into it, or y'all just want, or should I keep it safe? Let me know. Put either honest or safe in there in the comments and let me know. But that being said, as far as Black Box, I love the fact that he's bigging up brands that most people have never heard of and putting their cigars in the spotlight. He curates really well. He gets a lot of great feedback into it. So if you get a chance to get into Black Box Cigar Club, I rep this because I actually like them. Shouts out to Tip Top. Shouts out to Black Box Cigar Club. I feel like I've talked to these cats personally, and I like how they do things. So when it comes to that, I always show love to people who show love in that kind of way. And so this is not about me. I just like how they do business. So I highly recommend working with and subscribing to people who do business the way that they do. That being said, on the other foot, when it came to Provider Club, I got no personal beef with Brian. Brian has done something to me recently that's made me look at him in a way. And y'all, if anybody's been playing close attention, y'all know what I'm really talking about. But I still got no malice for him. But do I support Provider Club? I don't. Just because I don't agree with it. Now, if Brian ever decided like he wanted to come on the Vintage Cigar, if he wanted to have a conversation, if he wanted to come back on the Infamous, I would love to have him on. I would love to talk to him again. I thought we had a great conversation. But as far as his club, I don't rock with him. I don't rock with him. And what he did to me recently, I feel like I should be mad. But the thing is like if I play into the game that they were playing and trying to play with my name, the only thing it would do is start cigar beef, and I'm not here for it. And for somebody to try to use me in a way to generate sales or to generate drama, I'm not here for it. I'm not making any more videos going back and forth with beef. I'm not making any kind of videos to kind of promote your whatever you got going on. You promote your own company. When it comes to this right here, I'll put you on my chest all day. Because that's love. You know what I'm saying? Look, I even got on Padron. Y'all know I'm not the biggest fan of Padron, but how they do business, I'm not mad. It's cool. But you're not gonna see me trying to start like some fake pro wrestling type beef just so you can sell more cheap cigars and sell more bands. I'm not here for it. All right, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. I'm probably gonna get in some real heat for this one right here. How many of you actually watched the Saka interview for Infamous? At last I checked, it was probably getting close to like 800 views or something like that. That's actually pretty good for just a little channel that's just getting started. I think we're doing good. The last time I checked, it was getting close to 800. I don't know exactly where it was. And we got 30 people in here. It's only a few people talking. Twink, what up, man? So I sent a message to Saka the other day just to make sure, like, hey, man, I don't want you to, think that we was trying to ambush you. I don't think we were trying to be funny or, trying to be disrespectful to you. We had you on the show because we respect you as, a CEO. We respect you as a blender. And y'all know my absolute favorite cigar company is Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. I can say that unequivocally. I love Principal. I love Cavalier. I love Crown Heads. I love Fuente. Like, absolutely love these brands. I love Foundation. Love these brands. Like, I can go down the lines, right? But there was a part of that interview where you got brands like, Black Block Cigar Company, you got Drunken Chicken, you got Black Star Line, you got Carolina Blue Cigars, you got Definition Cigars. There are Black people moving into the cigar industry, and there's been a boom of Black people just in the space of cigar people that has grown over the past few years. We've always been here. If you look at the Ray Lewises, you look at the Michael Jordans, and you look at the Steph Currys, like all these, like we've Chad Ochocinco. I ain't even gonna say his name because I can't stand him. But that being said, either way, you got the Lee Max, you got the Cowboys, you got Ron Real. You can go down the line to all the different people, Black people that you've seen, men, women, smoking cigars, right? And that's a huge thing. So Steve kind of made a comment, just kind of like saying how he like, yeah, we've seen the growth of of Blacks in the cigar industry, and we kind of seen that kind of fade out. And the way he said it kind of made me kind of go, kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable, right? Cam Newton, it's another good one. Shout out, Willie. I like what Cam is doing too. I talked about that on this before. So then, I don't even think he meant anything by it. But when you say, I don't mean to be racist, but automatically I'm like, all right, where's this about to go? Already I'm like, what is he about to say? So he was talking about Pick Jimmy's channel, and he was talking about how Pick Jimmy delivers, and what, the mood that he gets in when he's watching Jimmy's channel. And then when he was talking about, the vintage cigar, he's like, I watched the vintage cigar. And he was like, I don't mean to sound racist, but when I watch his channel, it makes me want to have a cognac. And I was just like, I'm not mad. It just felt weird, right? And the whole thing behind it felt weird. And it didn't make me feel a way where it's just like, I don't have respect for Steve Saka. And it didn't make me feel the way that I'm going to stop smoking Dumbarton cigars. And it didn't make me feel the way that I don't have any respect for him, but it did make me kind of feel the way of like, the lens in which he sees Black people smoking cigars. And I think a lot of people unintentionally just kind of have this perspective that when he made the comment that it was like, oh, he said that, like, there's a Black urban contingency that's smoking cigars right now. Shouts out to everybody that hit the like button. It's everybody that's in here. Now, I don't know if you guys follow Tyler, the Creator, or if you follow the Grammys or anything like that, right? When Tyler made the Igor album, Tyler made a pop album. But instead of winning, the award for Best Grammy, they put this album where he's barely rapping on it at all in the Best Urban and Hip Hop category to win a Grammy. So when Tyler came up on the podium, they were asking Tyler, like, how do you feel about this? And he was like, well, I'm kind of on the fence about it because I feel like, no matter what, what album we try to make, they're going to put us in urban and he said, I feel like urban is just another way of saying the N-word. It's just a euphemism for saying that. And I kind of feel that way too, because I know where I came from. Like, I know that, growing up in North Carolina, I'm not urban. I didn't get to New York until I was in my 20s. I may not sound like it, but I'm a country boy at heart. I played out in the woods. I made forts with my friends. I rode, I threw dirt bombs and had dirt ball fights and all that kind of stuff like that. My friends in the neighborhood had four-wheelers and ATVs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Tyler got screwed over. He really did. Oh, innocent. I got to get to yours on that one. I got to get to that. So let me finish this point. So I'm saying that to say this, like, I don't think there was any malicious intent in what Saka was saying. But sometimes I feel like you got to kind of read the room a little bit and kind of like understand that we're not just a demographic. Like the people who are smoking cigars, people who love cigars are here for the culture because they love cigars. And I don't feel like I'm any different than a Pete Johnson. And I don't feel like I'm any different than Pick Jimmy. Other than the fact that we are individuals in the way that we do our shows. I don't even drink cognac. I don't drink liquor. you feel me? And when I made my show, when I made my channel, I went as hard as I could to put in my influence from hip hop to rock to jazz to my love of The Wire to my love of kung fu movies to my love of anime. I really tried to create an atmosphere that anybody from the age of 20 to the age of 55 can sit back and watch my show and catch a vibe and feel like they can relate to me because I relate to them. That's the way I wanted my show to go. I wanted to talk sports. I want to put my sports influence in there. I want to put my love for food on the channel, my love for cigars. I wanted everybody to get that. Felipe said I was out of pocket. In a way, man, and it's like, in a way, and like, I don't want it to feel like I'm trying to make an enemy out of Saka. And I don't want to do that because honestly, as anybody in this industry, there was nobody I respected more than what he's brought to the game than him. Like, honestly. And I never thought in a million years that 4 years ago when I made the vintage cigar that I would ever be able to sit down and have a conversation with the man. But I do want people to view human beings as at a different lens. And when I was talking about the WNBA, I want people to understand that like the way women get treated in sports is completely different than the way men get treated in sports. And the way that black people get treated in the cigar community is completely different than how a white person would be perceived in the community. And that's something that I feel like can change. That's why I shot out Jamar from Definition Cigars. That's why I shout out Chris with Carolina Blue Cigars. That's why I shout out, Drunken Cigars. Like, I want people to see, like, the same way that I want to show love to Crown Heads and the same way that I want to show love to Oya de Nicaragua, the same way that I want to show love to Drew Estates and the Dumbarton. I want everybody to get that same kind of love back just based on the merit of the quality and what they're putting out. When I talked to Steve about his customer service is top notch. It's top notch. It's the shit. And I never want that one comment to take away from him, 2 comments rather, to take away from who he is as a man. But I do want to be able to put a spotlight on it and say, like, yo, come on, man, it's a different way to look at us than just, sipping Thug Passion. Yeah, I rock a bandana, but I'm not Pop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I sit back and I pour a glass of wine and eat Wagyu steak while I smoke my cigars. But that's not making me, the representative for VSOP. I'm not Puff. Like, there's individuals to this. So let me get back to the comments. Let me get back to what the homie Eno was saying. He said, I think the problem is we need to own a facility in one of those countries. And if we have a partner to get one, where we aren't buying tobacco from going. I think that's shows a lack of respect for us, and like that's going to be the hard part because we got to find a way to, if we're going to get into those spaces, we got to be able to find a way that people can see us, that we're not just urban. Because when we walk into a lot of those doors and to try to break that glass ceiling, shouts out to Eric for breaking that ceiling. Shouts out to Jamar for breaking that ceiling. To see his relationship, dang, I'm drawing a blank right now because I don't want to say Tim Osgoner with Luciano. To see Jamar's relationship with Luciano, that man, y'all don't know how happy that made me, because only thing that we need as a people to get anything rolling is for somebody to open the door for us to get in and say, there's a market for this person and the people that follow him to make these cigars work. Does he have a good palate? Does he have a good marketing strategy? Does he have business sense? Does he have a following? Instead of looking at him saying like, he might be too urban. It might not work for us, man. We might lose money. Or this might be a little too street for us. I don't know if this is gonna work. That's the thing that kind of changes how we see things. So Anaya Ramirez was talking. She was having a conversation on a chat that I was just looking at, and all of these women were just kind of in there chilling and talking about how there's a glass ceiling for them in the cigar industry, and everybody was looking at them as TNA at first. Like, there's so many women just like posing with cigars that don't smoke and they got their titties out. It's okay to be sexy, but at the same time, some of these women can smoke you under the table, will have more tobacconist knowledge than a lot of the men in the industry. When you look at someone like Kay Berger, you know what I'm saying? There needs to be a lot more of that when these women can be absolutely gorgeous. All right, Alejandro, where they could be absolutely stunning, but at the same time got the wits and the capacity to be able to push the cigar culture along and to make great cigars and to make great cigar content. And I just want people to have that kind of open mind and that scope when they're going in, and not limit people to just being a sex symbol, or not limit people to being urban, or not limit people to being Cuban, or like that. That's the way my mind works. DJ Bro said, I was reading how the folks who started the Uncle Nearest Black Whiskey Bourbon brand, I think they were paving the way for how we got to get our own brands and factories. Yeah, it's part of it, but that's only a small fraction of it. There's a major part that's like, yes, there, whether it's clothing, whether it's sneakers, whether it's cigars, whether it's bourbon, whether it's whiskey, whether it's restaurants, whatever the case may be. There, if it's in sports, there always has to be a Jackie Robinson somewhere. There always got to be a Shirley Chisholm somewhere. There's somebody that got to kick open the door and open these doors. But at the same time, we also got to be able to work together in multi communities so we can collab, so we can, everybody can, be on the same page. And everybody got to, be willing to go over to, like, let me smoke this cigar, let me drink this whiskey, and not look at it and say, this is only for women. This is only for the urban community. This is only for Latinos. This is only for the Asian community. This is only. Like that's the stuff that we got to be able to break down. We got to be able to break down that stereotype, and that, and I don't think people do it consciously all the time. There's some people who are nefarious that do that consciously. Like, I don't want to work with this person because of whatever their stereotype is, whatever their prejudice is. And I don't want y'all to think that that's what I think of Steve Saka. I think Saka was on the other end. It's just like, over time, when you come up in a certain era, when you come up under a certain background, there's a lot of things that you got to break down. Like for me personally, it took me years to break down the way I felt about the gay community. I got no issue with the gay community at all now. But when I was coming up in the South, I had some fucked up images of the way I treated, people who were homosexual. And I'm so far away from that now. And if y'all notice, y'all will never hear me say the F word. Y'all will never hear me say the N word. Because it's just certain things. It's like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But my thing is just like, I want this to be all encompassing, whether you're male, female, intersex, black, white, Puerto Rican, whether you're Latin, whether you're Asian. I live in Asia right now. My whole life right now is me building connections with people from a different culture and then showing them what my culture is. And part of my culture is the cigar culture. Tell me this. Those two non-calls would have been flagrants in the NBA. Yeah. But you got to think about the way this is going right now. All these systems work together. When it comes to the money that's involved with the WNBA game, with the NBA game, with betting, with media, with sports commentary, with newspapers, all of them are connected. So if you make a non-call and then you make that non-call controversial, you're joining up all the talking heads on the internet. You're joining up all the talking heads on the sports radio. You're joining up all the talking heads on sports TV. You're joining up all the betting and people watching. So this goes to Las Vegas. All of this stuff is just turning a whole bunch of different things. The NBA has had enough time to balance everything out. WNBA doesn't have that time, so now they got to use everything they can get to make stuff churn for the WNBA. So that's how that works. So all of those calls are subjective, and we all know what Tim Donaghy. We all know how the NBA works. We all know how the refereeing works. It is what it is, man. Greg said the WNBA is getting what they want. Everyone is talking about them, period. Big facts. Big facts. I'm a long-haired, tattooed, big beard wearing, old school country music writer, performer, and hillbilly from the East Tennessee. Folks look at me and think I'm some biker dude and a Trump supporter because everybody got their preconceived notions. And that's my thing, man. Like, you don't know what skill set because somebody can meet you. They probably don't even know that you're that talented of a musician. And people might be clutching their purse or thinking that you're going to say something bigoted, or you know what I'm saying? And that kind of, like, you don't know until you actually stop and have a conversation. I need to hear what you got to say as a man to understand who you are. That's big facts, bro. Big facts. Unfortunately, that's what the world does to folks. We want to drop everybody into categories and the groups, whether it's race, religion, sexual orientation, and too many others to mention. It's BS. It's absolute BS. And this is why I appreciate y'all, man. And I don't know what kind of backlash is gonna come from me doing this episode. I don't know what's So this is gonna teach me the lesson. Just being this upfront and frank with you all. And thank you everybody for that joined in. I know it's late on the East Coast and it's getting late on the West Coast now too. But thank y'all for putting in y'all comments. Thank y'all for listening to the dialogue and contributing to the dialogue. But I don't know how this is gonna affect me. Who knows how it can affect my, relationship with Saka? Who knows how it can affect my relationship? And that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about, right? Because there's been some things behind the scenes with the new wave and some of the companies that are out there, some of the Cigar of the Month clubs and all that. And I can't put that out there because that's their story to tell. But I do want to say that what you say does have repercussions. Whether you're on the right side or the wrong side. So everything that I say right now, it's documented. It's on the internet forever. The moment I click end stream right here, this is going out to the world and it's going to stay out to the world, right? Unless I delete it. But either way, somebody could be recording it. You know, it was 40 people in here at one point in time. 40 people heard the majority of what I had to say, right? And you got to be able to live with what you said and how you said it. And then you got to be able to to be able to sit back and kind of think about like how your perspective on things is going to affect you. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because what I say about Blackbird, what I say about Caldwell, what I say about Michael Herklotz. Let's go there. Let's do this. So I have not been the kindest to his brand. I genuinely don't like smoking his brand. But there's some people that's gonna love the Suma. There's people that's gonna love the Elegancia. They're gonna love some of the timeless cigars and all that kind of stuff. And I gotta live with the fact that when we do the infamous show, Herklotz is in there listening. He could be in here listening right now. Somebody that I got beef with could be in here listening right now. So if I'm saying that, you know, this is not my favorite cigar, and this is why I don't like the cigar, this is why I don't deal with this brand, this is why I don't deal with his marketing and his personality. Same thing with Brian or whomever else that I haven't had the most glaring and positive reviews for. At some point in time, I'm gonna see them face to face, or at some point in time, they're gonna be a part of the show, or at some point in time, my words can affect how, like, you know, maybe this company wants to do business and they're like, oh man, we used to want to work with a vintage cigar. I don't want to work with a vintage cigar now. But I got to stand on that. I got to stand on the fact that, yo, everything that I say to y'all is my honest opinion and based on what my experience is. And when people say, oh, your truth, oh, I got to speak my truth, there's only one truth. 2 + 2 is 4. That's truth. What goes up must come down. That's truth. Based on the laws of physics. You know what I'm saying? I live in Japan right now. That's truth. I love Japan. I love being here. That's my opinion. I enjoy talking to Steve Saka. I love Steve Saka cigars. That's truth. But the way that I felt about a couple things that he said in that interview, those are my feelings, and that's my opinion. But has my opinion of him changed? No. Has my opinion on Michael Herklotz changed? No. So if he ever felt like, yo, I don't like this dude, I need to talk to him, I need to have a conversation with, the door is open. But he might not feel like I'm value to talk to. You know, the time that he was talking, you know, I felt like there was some jabs at us, you know, in some of his shorts when he was saying, like, you know, some of these talking heads, they don't understand cigars. They're not, you know, they're not genuine, and all the stuff that he was saying about us. Okay, that's his opinion. And I'm not mad at it. Do I agree with it? But that doesn't make me like his cigars anymore. But that I can't take away from how he feels about us as cigar reviewers and personalities. I can't change that. But should that make me be more careful in what I'm saying? Should it make me more careful in how I deliver my opinions on cigars? When I decided to make the vintage cigar as a review channel, the only thing that really mattered is how I felt about cigars in that time frame. How I felt about the cigar as I was smoking it and what I was the feedback that I was giving to you guys. And then over time, if I'm doing the buyer's guide, I'm talking to you about Davidoff. I'm not a big Davidoff fan. Me and Steve Saka agree wholeheartedly. The way he described how he feels about Davidoff, it's exactly the same way I feel about it. But there's a ton of you who absolutely love Davidoff. But I still did a Davidoff biased guy, and I had to give my opinion. This is, if you're gonna smoke Davidoff, this is my recommendation on what I think you should smoke. Yeah, the Saturday night interview, Rob. Ricky said peach is better than apple pie. I don't know if I can rock with you on that one, but I support your opinion on that. He said that's true. So go ahead, Fred. Oh, let me see. I want to see if I missed anybody. You see it said EKB. What do you think of the Wolves Mavs series? Let me get into that real quick before I get in it, because I don't want to skip over that. I do want to talk about that. Here's my thing about the Wolves Mavs. Styles makes fights. And I really feel like you got two teams that had enough talent, because you can't say the Wolves ain't have talent, because they took out the NBA champions. They took out who was considered the best player in the world at Joker, right? And the style made that fight. Ant was aggressive. The bigs were aggressive. They played better defense. That matchup didn't work out for Denver Nuggets. But they came up against a bandsaw with the Dallas Mavericks. And here's why. The Dallas Mavericks wanted that championship more. Luka played like he was hungry. He fought through the injuries. Kyrie Irving played through the injuries. Lively played like a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like their big men wanted the rebounds more. They wanted to box out more. They wanted to play more defense. They wanted to score more. And I felt like Rudy Gobert and Cat were absolutely soft. Rudy Gobert was terrible during that series. He was absolutely horrible. He had no strength. They put him out on the island. He couldn't guard anybody. He couldn't guard anybody in the post. He couldn't guard anybody in the drop. He looked terrible. And Cat was so out of his mind that he couldn't shoot. He looked like a deer on roller skates when he was going into the paint. And those bigs, those young guys that were playing on the Mavs were eating them alive. And then that just gave Kyrie and Luka all the energy in the world just to pick them apart from the perimeter. So I enjoyed watching the series, but I thought the Wolves were going to win. But the only person that was playing with any kind of heart on the Wolves was Ant. And he was gassed. He could only do so much. So that's my opinions on that, man. And I honestly believe that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen in the championship. I honestly think the Mavs are going to win because I think the Mavs want it more. The Boston is under the most pressure right now, and I feel like Boston will crack under pressure a lot faster than the Mavs will. But we're going to see. You got to play the game. So that's that. It was some jabs, dog, and honestly, I felt the same way as you with what he said about Cognac. After that, he lost me on the real. He didn't lose me, man. He didn't lose me. It just gave me another perspective on how I see the man as opposed to the businessman. You feel me? Like he's a human being. He's a human being. And I can't agree with everything he says. And nobody's gonna agree with everything that I say. And that's just kind of how it rolls, man. The truth is the truth. Sometimes it hurts, but should be appreciated. You're not kissing ass for likes or fake friendships. Not at all, bro. A real man speaks his mind no matter what and keeps it 100. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about, Quincy. But the other part to that is like sometimes you got to wonder, like, there's a time and place to say everything. So even with the story that I was telling about my cousin, there's a part of me that like regrets being as frank and as honest as I was with him in that time. Maybe I should have kind of, tempered the way I said it and how I said it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes what you say is gonna hurt other people's feelings, and it's gonna be to me. I don't think I said anything wrong, but maybe the way I said it was a little bit too much at that time. And I'm trying to find that balance with my channel. I'm trying to find that balance with my friendships. I'm trying to find that balance within my family and within my personal life. You don't want to be too guarded, and I don't want to sugarcoat things or try to divert how I say things, but I still want to be honest. But at the same time, I don't ever want to hurt anybody either. I don't want to disrespect nobody either, because respect is everything to me, right? So that's the part that I'm battling with right now. Yo, yeah, and Nas too. Nas got busy. Nas Reed was balling. So my bad for forgetting about Nas. Nas was balling. Big facts on that one, CK. He said, yes, sir. Let's talk basketball. If the Celtics lose, what we need to talk about is the role player for the Mavs and how they get this way. Go Mavs. Salute to my city, man. Dallas, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this. The glares on this thing. The Dallas were able to hide Luka on defense. But see, that's the thing, though. Defense is a team game. You know what I'm saying? And Luka is not the best defensive player, but Luka played the best defense I've seen him play in a long time, Jack. And everybody used to say the same thing about Steph. Like, Steph can't play D, and they got to hide Steph on D. But Luka and Steph know when to play within the lines. They know when to stay on their man, and they know when to follow the defensive schemes so all the other defensive players can make up for it. That's why you have a Draymond. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have a Lively. So you got people that can go ahead and take up the slack where you can't do it. It's crazy that Luka is 6'8", 250 pounds, and is not the best defender, but he played some of the best defense that he's played this year. Speaking of you saying styles make fights, what's your thoughts on the Fury Usyk fight? Now people are talking about not only a rematch instead of Fury, but Fury versus Joshua and Usyk versus Wilder. Thoughts? Wilder ain't coming back. Wilder is done. Wilder is done because he knows he's not a good boxer. Wilder is done because now everybody knows that Wilder is not a good boxer. As far as like Usyk, that dude knows how to box, especially for his size. He knows how to box. Tyson Fury knows how to box. Joshua knows how to box, but Joshua doesn't have a chin. But he's skilled enough that he can get in there with those big boys and bang. I honestly like looking at the heavyweight boxing right now. I think heavyweight boxing is finally in the best place that it's been since the Chris Bird days, since the Lennox Lewis days. Even with the Klitschko's, it was getting kind of wishy-washy. But now we got some heavyweight boxers that we can actually speak of by name, that actually showing a variety of different skill sets, from brawlers to punchers to boxers. They're showing a little bit of everything. So now we got some fights that's actually worth sitting through. And like you said, styles, like I said before, styles make fights. It's going to be a lot of, if boxing is not going to be corrupt and knows how to market these guys, we will have some great fights the same way that we got in some of the lighter, belts with like Tank and Crawford and Haney. And, what I'm saying? Like, we can go down the line. Like, boxing is, we finally got some really good boxers right now. Band-Aid coming off. But that being said, it's all going to be based on how boxing is going to handle this. Boxing has been corrupt for so long. It's way too many belts out there. It's way too many classes out there. And it's just like, it's all convoluted. And they're about to mess up this money. but with the boxers that we have out there, we can actually have some really good competition and some really good fights. They just need to get the conferences together and make boxing better again. He said, "Don't bring up that bum, Chris Bird." He wasn't a complete bum, man. But that era, that was the last good era in heavyweight boxing for a long time, man. That's what I was saying. I'm not saying he was great. I'm not putting him in the same class as I would put it Lennox Lewis, or I'm not going there. It's not the George Foreman era, but that was the last time during that time where you wanted to see heavyweight boxers get down. So I feel you on that. Look, so Roger said, "Damn, bro, I was a huge Wilder fan. I love watching his fights." Here's the thing. I'm going to compare him to Caitlin, right? I'm going to compare him to Caitlin because Deontay Wilder was what everybody wanted heavyweight boxing to be. He looked the part. He had the charisma. The dude, well, the top half of his body was an Adonis. He got this powerful right hand. He came with the regalia into the ring. He came in with the swag. He had the braids. He was a hulking monster that people were terrified of. But everybody they put that man in the ring against at first was a tomato can, and it was the boxing set him up to be the new hope in boxing. And it's the same thing they're doing with Caitlin right now, because she has the Steph Curry style, but she doesn't have what Steph Curry has. She can't pass. She can't penetrate. She's okay at dribbling, but she got this magical three-pointer. And the same thing with Deontay when he came to the ring. Remember when Muhammad Ali used to joke on George Foreman that he looked like a mummy? And what did Muhammad Ali do? He picked him apart. He roped the dope. He moved around the ring, got him tired. Bop, bop, bop. Down goes Foreman. So when it came to Deontay Wilder, when he fought, he had no defense on his chin. He kept his chin out. He kept his left hand all the way out here, and he didn't have a jab. He would just throw his hand out, and that right hand stayed cocked the whole time. So if you throw a bunch of tomato cans in there, they get caught with that right hand, they're tumbling. They're going down. But when he fought the new Chinese cat the other day, that man actually knows how to box. He has an iron chin. You can't go to him with your chin out like this, because the moment he did, pop, he went down. And I said from 2016 on that this dude is not a great boxer. And I tried to warn people. I was like, he doesn't know how to box. He keeps his feet close together. He got no strength in his legs. He doesn't have any bounce. He doesn't have a jab. He doesn't tuck his chin. He got no head movement. If he fights any real fighters, he's going down. And the moment he fought real boxers, Wilder got exposed. It is what it is. He looked great. If I wanted to support him just on being an image, I would have loved him too. But I'm a boxer purist. I love martial arts. I love pugilism. I love watching and studying how people fight. He wasn't a good boxer ever. And once he got to somebody that actually had some real talent, they ate him alive, man. If you ask me, he didn't win any of those fights against Fury. He looked bad. And any of those fights after that, his confidence was gone. And that whole time, what's it been, close to a decade that he's been boxing? What new skills did he ever garner? He didn't know how to circle the ring. He didn't know how to cut people off. He didn't know how to move under punches. He didn't know how to bob his head. He didn't know how to have a defense. He got rocked because he couldn't do any of those things, and he never learned. And is that his fault, or is that his trainer's fault? Even with Anthony Joshua does not have a chin, but he can box. He's not the most powerful heavyweight, but he can box. If you look at Tyson Fury doesn't look like a boxer, but you get that man in the corner, he can bob and weave, he can dodge, he can move out of the corner, he can work his way out, he got footwork. He said, oh, let me get back down. Hold on, let me see what's going on here. It was awesome to see Usyk unify the four organizations. Since 2007, we've had 5 undisputed champions. See, this is what I was talking about with the belts. And we had 5 undisputed heavyweights from the 60s to 80s and the 2 belt era, and 5 champions starting with Iron Mike during the 3 belt era from 80s to 90s. That's what I'm saying. Like, we finally get into a place that is kind of starting to unify a little bit, and hopefully they're cleaning up, like, you know, boxing in general, that, you know, the judging is going to be better, and, you know, all of these different belts can kind of work together and people stop ducking. The main thing is nobody wants to get an O. Nobody wants to lose. And the perception that, like in boxing right now, that if you lose, and if you lose your championship, then you're nothing. I actually want Wilder to come back, but I want Wilder to come back as a better fighter, but I think he's done, because it's the way that people look at boxing in general right now. He said Caitlin Clark is second in assists in the league right now, but that's not basically on her. If you watch her the other day against Skylar Diggins, when they would put Skylar in a trap, Skylar could pass out of the trap. Skylar was running into the lane. She was finding her teammates with pocket passes and all that kind of stuff. We can't go just based on stats. Sometimes you got to watch the game to see how people pass, because when Caitlin was under pressure, she was throwing the ball away. She was having turnovers. If you want to look at stats, go take a look at her turnovers right now. It's not that. It's also the eye test. She's not a great passer, and she's not a great point guard. And that team is losing. Wilder, this is what I wanted to get to right here. Oh, hold on. Let me see what Anderson said. I disagree. He fired the man that made him. He fired the man that made him after the Fury fight. So you're saying that because he fired the guy that made him, that why did he fire him though? Because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So he went through that whole. I remember that whole press run and all that kind of stuff like that. But okay, so now that he fired the cat, did he improve? And he wanted to box. He felt like he could box real boxers. But when he boxed real boxers, what happened? He got ate alive. He got beat down. But that's the way I see it. He said Wilder is basically Ernie Shavers of a modern era. One punch. That's all he's working with. One trick pony. That's what I was bringing up with Caitlin. That's why I was comparing him to Caitlin. He's a one trick pony. I agree with that. I put Usyk in the same class as Holyfield and James Toney. I agree with that. I miss James. James Toney was a talented boxer, and I don't think James Toney actually gets enough respect for his skill set, especially the way he used the Philly shell. I think James Toney was phenomenal. I don't like Holyfield. I think Holyfield is an absolute bum, because Holyfield, if he ever gets to the point where he's losing and he can't, get in with his punches, he start doing this, and he start doing this, and he start doing this. I got no respect for Holyfield. I hate cheaters. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Roger said, I don't think Wilder can fight any other way. He tried to learn how to box, but it's too late. And that's the other thing. He did come in late as a fighter. But I don't know, man. I know after some time you kind of revert to what you know. But at the same time, we can still learn a skill set. I'm a 43-year-old man trying to learn Japanese right now. It's hard, but I can do it. You know what I mean? So at some point in time, you got to be able to learn how to. I learned how to drive a stick shift when I was 28 years old. And sometimes you got to learn how to do things. I can still drive a stick shift to this day. I'm not going to be fast and furious, but you at least got to be able to learn well enough that you can actually, use your other skills and compound on top of that. Cali Cal, what up, homie? Who beat Mike Tyson? Who was that? And Lee Barnes, is that you? Jerome is up in the place to be. I was smoking the Don Durma Golden Child. Is that clear up here? Don Durma Golden Child. I'm about to put this out though. And real quick, I gotta check the time, man. I've been going for almost 2 hours. What time is it right now? 12:04. All right. I think I got time for one more cigar. What up, T? that makes me happy right there. Yo, that's one of my best friends growing up, man. So y'all say what up to my homie Lee, man. That's one of my best friends growing up. I'm happy to see my homie in here, man. That make my day. The past few lives, man, I had a lot of people from my past come up in here, man. People that I grew up with that I love, man. So my homie in here. So yeah, I'm hyped right now. Monday Night Raw sounds catchy. If you, I don't know, Taurus, if you just getting up in here, man, I had a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I had to get some stuff off my chest. Y'all know how I do with the lives. I don't sugarcoat shit. But I still got to be careful with some of the stuff that I talk about, man. Like my thing is like part of the thing that you got to do, like if you're starting a company, if you're, like let's say I wanted to open up a cigar shop somewhere down the line. Like if I go back to the States and I want to open up a cigar lounge, I got to have relationships with people in order to do that. And I know that's the way like a lot of the people work. You got Holtz. You got when Bradley was alive with Zill. You got Cigar Prop. You got Provada. You got like all of these people. You got to be able to network and you got to be able to rub shoulders, right? You got to be able to develop relationships, and you don't want to burn bridges. I got respect for Sanj. I got respect for Saka. I got respect for John Huber, and all the different people that have come on to the infamous show, the people that have come into the Vintage Cigar that I've talked with that have worked on the lives. You never know how these relationships that you're building are going to work out. And one of these days, I'm going to be able to get out of Japan and get to PCA and get the TPE. And I'm going to have to shake a lot of hands. And I'm going to have to rub shoulders. And I'm going to have to come to terms with a lot of the opinions that I've had about cigars. Maybe I'll get to meet a Noel Rojas. Maybe I'll get to meet Matt Booth. I might run into Robert Caldwell. I might run into Michael Herklots. So there's people that I've said great things about. Carlito knows who I am, which is surprising. But you never know what that relationship is going to be like. I've spoken mainly highly of Fuente Cigars, but I'm not the biggest fan of Opus. I've been honest in my opinion about the Angel Share and about Lost City and about the Rare Pink. I don't love them as much as I love an Eye of the Shark and Yeho. But I'm not going to hide that. But at the same time, I don't know how that's going to affect my relationship if I try to grow in this business. I think Brad was a cool dude. I think Brad was cool too. That's why when Brad passed away, I didn't know him personally, but I wanted to give him a shout out because he was going to come on. He was going to come on the show with us. And I actually was really excited about actually having a conversation. That was only like maybe a week or a few days before he passed away. You dig me? I feel like, that's something lost, man. That I never would get a chance to have a conversation with that dude. But I got a big feeling. I know Cigar Prop is not a big fan of me. And I know Cigars Daily and Tim, they're not a big fan of me. I know Herklots is not a big fan of me, and there's probably more people who don't like the Vintage Cigar and they don't like EKB. But there are other people that might want to work with me, but you just never know until you get a chance to sit down and have a cigar with these people and really like have a real conversation. So I felt like I gotta be raw, I gotta be me, I gotta be open and honest. But at the same time, maybe I need to temper my approach to some things. I just don't feel like I'm the type of person that knows how to shuck and jive and dance for people. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. But I feel like I know how to address people and talk to people and have, you know, real conversations, talk about the bottom line, talk about who they are as people, and talk about who I am and what my opinions are. And I feel like I can do that in a professional way. That I don't feel like even with the people that I disagree with, and with the people that I may not enjoy their product, I don't ever feel like I'm being nasty. But you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Like, you guys got to be the one to help me stay in check. Because if y'all feel like I'm getting out of pocket, and if I'm going overboard, and if I'm being too frank, then y'all need to be like, yo, E, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're going too far. That might have been a little overboard. Everybody needs to have a mirror put up. I need to have that mirror put up sometimes. I'm trying to see the lighting is changing here. So, CK, I'm trying to see what you're saying. Just say that all cigars are good. I can't, man. I can't. It's not in me. The Opus 20th, the 13th Forbidden X, the Siglo, the Fuente, all masterpieces. And I haven't had all of those, but that Siglo, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Let's see. He said I had the Wildfire Ottawa. Am I pronouncing that right tonight? Thought it was okay. What's my man name from Wildfire? We had him on the show. I think his name is Jeffrey. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Jeffrey. That dude is funny as hell to me, man. And I love the passion that he has for his cigars. And I like the fact that he's trying to blaze his own trail. I haven't had enough of his cigars to give an opinion. The ones that I did had, I enjoyed. But I haven't had enough to say, whether I'm blown away by it or not. But I do appreciate I appreciate his approach to cigars and promoting himself. And I feel like he's completely honest and he's a genuine dude. Adam said, you just got to do what you do and you will attract people. These are that are willing to roll with you. And that's true. Adam. But you also got to be able to connect and work with the people who are not going to be on the exact same page as you. Right? Everything is yin and yang. Everything is positive and negative, and you got to be able to work with the negative, and you got to be able to make the negative into a positive, and so on and so forth, right? And you got to figure out a way to build relationships and to connect with people and to make things go the way they're supposed to go. Now, y'all know I love Noel Rojas, and I absolutely love the bonnet. I love the statement. And there's several cigars that I've had from Statement that I think are phenomenal. I have not really been enjoying the street tacos. And I know people love this cigar. This is the barbacoa. I'm not really feeling it. I'm hoping that it's going to get better. It's smoking beautifully, but I don't know if it's because I just had that Don Dorma that it's not giving me what I want from it. But I love the way it's smoking. I love the body of the smoke. I love the draw on it right now. But I don't know. I went back to this cigar specifically because I wanted to see, is it just me or if I'm not really digging this cigar right now. I haven't been digging the Carnitas, and I'm not really digging the barbacoa. Let me see what y'all saying. Fred said, dog, you good? We can be the trouble man of the I rock with trouble man. That's my Marvin shit. We can be the trouble man of the cigar community. We just gonna speak what we feel for sure. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I always live by that Trouble Man song. That's one of my favorite Marvin joints. But I love that album too. And if you guys never listened to Marvin Gaye, if you want to listen to an instrumental album that's absolutely brilliant, go out and get Trouble Man. That's just fucking fantastic. But saying that to say, I do also want to be, somebody that people can respect and actually appreciate my commentary, appreciate my feedback, and appreciate me as a man, regardless on what I'm saying. I still want to be a part of the community and help the community grow. JB, what up? Jerome said, "Rest on your palate," and I try to, brother. You know how we get down. Uh, Torres said, "Keelan, move to Texas, and we can start the Texas Cigar Outlaws." Hey, it's a possibility that I could end up in Texas when I come back to the States, man. It's a possibility. I got fam down there. It has been discussed with the wife. All right, this might be coming alive a little bit. We're gonna see if this gets any better. Get you some sparkling water, dude. I should have brought my LaCroix up here, man, and kind of clear the palate out. But I don't really think that's it. I just forgot to get it, and I was so like dead set on getting it. This live started early, so a lot of people could join in, especially a lot of people on the East Coast. I wanted to have some of that love this time around. But and as you can see, I've been going for 2 hours. I've had a lot to say in this meantime, so I didn't grab my water, man. I ain't go back downstairs. Ben is up in here. What up, Ben? He said, "Late. What up from San Diego? Shouts out to San Diego. I got some homies from San Diego coming out to Cali in the next few weeks. Not to Cali, to Japan in the next few weeks. I had Brick House Maduro, Mighty Mike. It was good, all 3/3. I got that joint downstairs, man. I just haven't smoked it yet. Is that the one that got the frayed foot? Is that the same one? Am I thinking the same one? I love that y'all coming to chat, man. Everybody chopping it up. CK, my slept on brands are Lampert, Principal, Suet. Am I reading? I don't know Suet. OM and J London. You know what? I haven't had a lot from OM, man. That's one I got to try. But all of those brands, to my knowledge, are pretty underrated and pretty good. So I'm not mad at that at all. I like that Lampert. What's the one? I keep forgetting the name. The one with the top hat on it. Not the Limitada, but Don Patron. I do not like the Don Patron. I don't like it. But the Ocean Breeze joint and the 1675 joints, all of those, fire, absolutely fire. Principal, I'm digging. Psalm, I'm really digging right now too. So yes, Cigar Head Fred said that whole album is fire. It's absolute fire, dude. Trouble Man. If y'all want an instrumental album, again, Trouble Man, Marvin Gaye. Go get that shit. That's some cigar music. Y'all know when I was doing that thing on Instagram with the cigar music, I need to do that again with some Trouble Man. That's great cigar music. Dallas might happen, man. Either Dallas, my people in Dallas right now, and my brother was talking about going down to Dallas. So me and my wife have discussed it, but we're gonna be here at least for another 3 to 5 years. So it's gonna be a minute before I get up out of here. 1875, Azul, Lampert. Yes, sir. That's money. Just finished LFD Lennox. Good evening stick. I do like that Lennox, man. I like the Lennox and the Solus. I like both of those. I still got a couple more downstairs. The only thing I'm getting from this right now is cedar, man. I'm not getting anything else. The Brick House Maduro did not have the shaggy foot. That's the Big Smoke 2024 Brick House. Bet. I don't think I got the Maduro downstairs then. I gave away like all my Brick House. And I love JC Newman. I just, and like, Brick House got like sentimental value for me. Let me bring my phone down here before this shit overheats. But I know I've had the Maduro, but the flavors are not ringing the bell right now. I'm glad you enjoyed it though, especially since you said it was good all the way through to the last third. That's major. Matt gave the action symmetry of Pedestrian a little while back, and in one of his reviews, that shit was memorable for me. Damn good. Yeah, like the symmetry for me was good the last time I've had it. I haven't had it in a couple years though. But all in all, I like Ashton. But that's how palettes work, man. That's how palettes go. And in general, that symmetry has been kind of like contentious. There's some people that absolutely love it, and some people that really don't rock with it like that. And I don't know what it is that makes that cigar in itself so polarizing, because it's a really smooth cigar and it's really balanced. And Matt got so many reviews. I try to keep up with Matt. I can't keep up with Matt. So I got to go back and watch that one to see what he said. Getting pedestrian from Matt is tough. That's tough. Cigar Hound Dog, when you talk about influence in the cigar industry right now, that's tough. But we've had that conversation back and forth, Jerome, about that cigar quite a bit, man. We've been going back and forth just as a collective and just as a community. We've been talking about that one for a minute. Adam Forte said Marvin Gaye is great cigar music, and Sade too. Those are two of my favorites, and those are albums, not just songs. Those are albums that I sit back and listen to, like Sade, Diamond Life, mwah, beautiful. Promise, mwah, beautiful. Just great albums. Marvin Gaye is one of my favorite artists of all time. So when it comes to What's Going On is my all-time favorite album. Here, My Dear, Trouble Man. I feel like I'm missing one. I know a lot of people like what's the not Shake Shack, but what's the Love Shack joint? I Want You. I know I Want You is a lot of people's favorite Marvin album, the Leon Ware joint. And I love Leon Ware. I love Marvin, but that's not in my top. Here, My Dear might be my second joint after Let's Get It On. I love Let's Get It On too. But What's Going On? But yeah, that's definitely absolute cigar music. Chiseled Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 by LFD, fire. I take those over the bull. CK, I rock with you. CK. And I love the chisels. I think they're underrated. I think they're highly underrated from LFD. But that bull, man, is something special. And I'm not saying you're wrong by any stretch. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just said at this point I disagree. But I can see why you got that opinion, because those chisels are highly, highly, highly underrated. Yeah, Dance With Me came from the Leon Ware joint, no doubt. Marvin got busy, man. Marvin got busy on that album. It's just it feels like a Leon Ware album, and it doesn't feel like a Marvin album to me. That's why I say that. Let's see. Jerome said the ESG from Ashton is top notch. I love the ESG and the VSG. Absolutely. But them prices steady going up, just like the Opus X. And that's my problem. That's why you don't see me smoking them a lot. That's my problem with it. And I understand putting a value on premium tobacco, but a lot of that with the Ashton line and the Opus line is going more off of reputation now than anything. I love Dominican tobacco. I think it's really good, but I think it's been surpassed at this point by the complexity of a lot of different tobacco that's out there, from some of the Mexican tobacco, people experimenting with the different Cameroonian tobaccos. Nicaraguan is so robust that I think a lot of that Dominican tobacco is kind of getting overshadowed a little bit. And I think that it had its heyday, and I think it had its place. But it's a lot of cigars that I would take over an Opus X the majority of the time. And y'all know me, I'm a DC guy. Like I prefer the Don Carlos line over anything from Fuente, even the Añejo. But I'm never mad, because I feel like the Ashton line likes to mix it up a little bit with their blending too. I don't know, man. I just wish they weren't going off of that premium price tag, that premium name and status, because I think they're kind of taking themselves out of a lot of the conversation of some of the greats because of that price point. But that's just my opinion. Isaac Hayes peaks cigar music, no doubt. I got some of my dad's, Isaac Hayes albums downstairs right now, man. Y'all don't know, like, if if I had a place where I could smoke in the house and I could set up the vintage cigar the way I wanted to set up vintage cigar, where I had my vinyl and I was gonna play music and or talk about music and smoke cigars, I was gonna have a whole thing where I could just sit back and like the place that we were looking at that's just down the street that I was gonna get before we got this place had a garage, and I couldn't wait to set up that garage where I could have my rabbit air and get my vinyl, get a nice heater. Yo, the vintage cigar was about to be crazy, yo. It was gonna be crazy because I was gonna put y'all on some music. I was gonna get busy. We was gonna have Roberta Flack going. We was gonna have Isaac Hayes going. We was gonna have Ohio Players, Marvin Gaye, Rod Tipperton. We was Rod Stewart. We was gonna get busy. Like I was gonna play some music, yo. Tyler the Creator. Like I was gonna do a whole thing on cigar music, and it just like I can't smoke in the house here. It would just my wife would kill me for one, and just it would just never work with the way these Japanese homes are set up. I would never be able to get the smoke out of this house, ever. So that kind of killed that whole thing, man. That killed that vibe. Quote from Matt: California air has a lot of red and black pepper on the retro, and it's really irritating to the sinuses. Is that what Matt was saying about the symmetry? Matt is my guy, man. Y'all don't understand. Like, I genuinely love that dude as a friend, man. That's my guy. But I bug out with his sensitivity to pepper, man. Like it trips me out. It trips me out, yo. I got the Chisel LFD fiber, fucking fantastic cigar. It's tragic how Marvin died. That whole thing, man. Like, who was that? Was that Intercost that said that? It sounded like Intercost. The whole thing behind Marvin's story is tragic. There's a few people that I study inside and out. Bruce Lee, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Marvin Gaye. Study them. Like, know their albums inside and out, know their books, know their biographies, know their stories. And Marvin is probably one of the most tragic figures in entertainment. Y'all think Puff is bad? Y'all think Diddy is bad? Marvin was a wild boy. That was a wild boy. What Rick James said, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Marvin went through some stuff, man. Between the stuff that he went through with his father, the stuff that he went through with Berry Gordy, Berry Gordy's wife, with his second wife, Janice. Just if you ever want to like get into a deep dive of like a musical genius that destroyed himself, go and pick up Marvin Gaye's Hear My Dear album. Listen to that album top to bottom, and then go back and do your research on Let's Get It On. What's going on? Let's Get It On. And how he got to the point where he got to Hear My Dear. And the whole thing behind the court proceedings behind that album, the stuff about dating young women, about the kids that he had, about the relationship that he had with Berry Gordy. That is it's deep, man. Marvin was fucked up. He was a fucked up human being. He was a tragic human being, but he was an absolute musical genius. R. Kelly and Diddy ain't got shit on Marvin. Diddy might be different. Some of the stuff that I expect to come out about Diddy might change some things. But as of right now, Marvin Gaye, Rick James ain't even got nothing on Marvin. Marvin is one of the most tragic figures I've ever seen in music, man. But he was a musical genius. Hold up, man. I'm trying to catch up with y'all. I gotta boil some eggs. I might be back. Boil some eggs for what? What the fuck you making, man? You making deviled eggs or something? What the fuck is that? Texas. CK, the VSG is like the Lost City, just okay till it finished giving the foundation CT 142 or Syncom. Give me a foundation CT or Syncompromiso. No, I feel you on that. I won't even really argue with that. I won't argue with that. Olmec too. I won't argue with that. I feel you on that one, CK. Those like especially Lost City. I don't like the Lost City at all. I don't like it. I've tried, and I know Peter's in here with Cigars Unbanded. I know he will talk about days on end how much you got to age that Lost City, and it'll get better. And I just haven't had one that was aged enough yet. That cigar, like everybody was hyping up that Lost City when I first got into the vintage cigar, and it was on my wish list. That I was like, this is a cigar that I gotta smoke because I love Fuente for one, and that like everybody was hyping that cigar up, especially everybody that was doing reviews at that time. And I smoked that cigar, and I was like, is this it? And I was like, maybe I just got a bad one. Let me try it again. And I smoked multiple Vitolas of that cigar, and I could give a damn about that cigar. I'll take a foundation over that any day, my damn self. He said, so what happened with the other house, Jerome? What happened with the other house, man? It was like it only had 4 bedrooms, I think. So we had enough bedrooms that the kids could get their individual bedrooms, and the bedrooms were a lot smaller. And our bedroom was really small. There was going to be the premium bedroom for the adults, and they had some fucked up wallpaper on it. And the house is just a little bit too small for what we wanted. This house has 5 bedrooms, so we got an office space. Myself and my wife, we both needed an office. We got a tatami room, which is a Japanese style room, and everybody, my wife and both of the kids, got their own space. So we lost out on having the garage, but everything else worked out. So we had to kind of go with this house instead. That's what happened with that, Jerome. All right, Pan, thank you for joining in, man. He said there's some conspiracies about Marvin Gaye's death, though. You either listen to that in My Lifetime album. You ever? Oh yeah, I love In My Lifetime. I love that album. But if you take it, so just In My Lifetime, when Marvin made that album, he was having conflicted issues with drugs, and he was having conflicted issues with his religion, and he was going through it with Berry Gordy at the time. He was splitting from Motown and Tamla, and he had went on this sabbatical after he got divorced from his wives, both of his wives. After he got a divorce from both of his wives, he was broke, he was losing his mind, he was hopped up on drugs, and he was trying to stick it to Berry Gordy. So if you listen to that album is unfinished. My favorite song on that album is Far Cry. And if you listen to that, you can play that song maybe 15 or 20 times, and you're gonna vibe out the Far Cry because it's a bop. But when you try to sing the lyrics, there are no lyrics to that song. He never finished it. So what happened was he was holding on to that album while he was in Austin, and he didn't want to release it. He was trying to complete it, but he wasn't in the mental capacity to complete that album. So Berry Gordy took the unfinished album that he sent in and just released it anyway. That's why there's 2 versions of that album. So Marvin was working on that album, and he was working on an album called The Love Man. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to make a disco album, and he wanted to make this spiritual album. And it all got real convoluted with his drugs and all that kind of stuff. And Berry Gordy was like, yo, we got to put out this album right here. You're taking too long, because Marvin, it was Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye. They were the 2 biggest artists in the world at that time. And Berry was like, yo, you messing up my money. So he put out the album, and it's unfinished. So if you go digging, you can actually find there's an extended version of that album that has the original In My Lifetime, and it has the Love Man album that he was making at the same time. And you can actually listen to where he was combining the 2 albums. It's actually kind of crazy to kind of go back and do the research on that whole period of Marvin Gaye when he was in Austin. It's some wild stuff, man. But it's a great album. It's just unfinished. That's why I didn't even put it like with the other albums that I was naming. And the conspiracies around his death, it's really no conspiracy on that one. His dad hated his guts, and He and his dad didn't have a good relationship. They were battling with their sexuality. Both of them had issues that they were dealing with, mental health issues. They were dealing with issues from their Seventh-day Adventists and the physical abuse. And Marvin Sr. was actually abusing Marvin Gaye's mom, and he was a mama's boy. He loved his mom to death. And he gave his dad, he gave his mom a gun to protect him from his dad. And that same gun that he gave his mom to protect himself, Marvin actually set his dad up to kill him, to shoot him dead. So Marvin Sr. was beating up on his mom. Marvin got tired of it. He was living with him. He didn't have any money, and he was going crazy, and he wanted to commit suicide, but he didn't have the heart to do it. So he attacked his dad for messing with his mom, and his dad went and got that gun and shot him. And I don't know if it was on his birthday or it was the day before his birthday. It was April Fool's. So nobody believed it was true. I think his birthday is actually April 2nd, if I'm correct. I'm doing this off the top of my head. But that's what happened with that. That's some crazy shit, man. Ain't no conspiracy behind that. His brother actually tells the story about it. His brother was actually at the house, in the family house in the backyard, and heard his brother get shot. He actually went in there and picked up Marvin while he was bleeding out. And he told his brother, "I got what I wanted." That was his last words. That's some crazy shit. Y'all, man, like that. Y'all don't know how much, man. Like, I love Marvin Gaye growing up, man. That was like my shit. That's my music. But it's a crazy thing, like meeting your heroes and understanding who your heroes are. You don't want to get too deep into it, because when you find out who the real person is, when you find out who the man is, shit gets wild. He said, CK said, "I've been smoking that Lost City since it came out. I'll pass and give it an 888 and Yeho." That 888 and Yeho is crazy. I got one downstairs. Shouts out to Roger for sending that one to me too. In the course, I recently had 2 sticks absolutely blow my doors off. I can't wait to hear what these are. The Foundation Matepa Maduro, Double Corona, and the God of Fire Series B. Both are gifts from God. To me, that Matepa, and what is it called now? They changed the name of that cigar. I can't remember what he changed it to. I can never remember what it is. But Peter and I from Cigar Collective always joke calling that the light beer cigars. It's a good cigar, but it's like a light version of the Olmec. I'll take the Olmec Claro or the Olmec Maduro over that any day. That God of Fire Series B, though, I agree with you 100%. Sorry, I'm kind of behind, guys. I'm trying to catch up with y'all. Let's see. Smoked my first Sin Compromiso yesterday. Enjoyed it that way. Way more. I'm correcting this. Enjoy that way more than the Stillwell Star. Re-upped on Red Meat Lovers. I love the Red Meat Lovers, Rob. Sin Compromiso is absolutely one of my favorites. That vegetal, effervescent, mentholy kind of minty note that you get from a Sin Compromiso is heaven sent. And it was cool to finally get to talk to Saka about that cigar too, and see what he thought about that cigar and this whole thing. I felt like Saka was kind of in a mood during that. Like, he didn't want to go. I was trying to get Saka to like deep dive into his cigars, and he wasn't really doing it. But he did give a little bit of knowledge on his cigars and his thought process on some of it. So it wasn't a complete waste. But that Sin Compromiso is magic. And even he was saying that the Stillwell Star is kind of hit and miss. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The more I smoke the Red Meat Lovers, the more I love that cigar. That's growing on me a lot. Fred said if Marvin and Roger did a collab, it would be fire. It would be kind of interesting to see how Marvin would have worked with somebody like Roger. Roger was probably one of the most unique musicians that has ever existed. And Roger was so ahead of his time. Like, literally, if you listen to Computer Love, what he was singing about in the 70s, early 80s with Computer Love is outstanding. Like, that song, you could put out Computer Love now in 2024, and it would change music. and it would really be at a point where like the lyrics are still relevant to this day. And he made that before computers and the internet was a thing. That right there in itself is mind blowing. But I don't know like how that talk box would work with Marvin. Marvin is the best singer between Marvin, David Ruffin, and Whitney Houston are the best singers I've ever heard. Ever. Axum. Thank you, Intercourse. Axum. I can never remember that name for that cigar. But that being said, I really feel like they're so talented that they could probably mesh, but their sounds are so different that I wonder how that will work out. JB, let's see what JB said. That's like knowing the real MJ off the court. Word. When I was talking about like actually meeting your heroes, being an 80s kid, Jordan was everything. Like when I would go hoop, man, I had the full Bulls uniform. I had the black and red knee brace that I would put on just below my knee. I had the wristband. I thought I was Jordan. Barely over 5 feet, and I thought I was Jordan. I could hoop back then, though. But the thing is like once I really saw what Jordan was, it kind of took some of that glow off. So I had to see Marvin Gaye as a musician, like I got to see Kanye West as a musician, like I got to see Michael Jackson as a musician, the same way I got to see Michael Jordan as a basketball player solely. You know what I mean? It's very few people that you like when you really get to see them, like the person that they present as an artist is completely different as the human being. And that happens sometimes. You gotta appreciate that that's what it is. Look, man, like CK said, the God of Fire anniversary is amazing. I haven't had a God of Fire yet that didn't blow me away. Honestly, I just wish they were just at a better price point. You know, like I love Fuente, man. I just wish Fuente, and I know they're dealing with legacy, and I know that's a legacy brand. That's a true definition of a legacy brand. Not talking about like Romeo and Julieta or San Cristobal and all that bullshit. I'm talking about salt in the game, just making great cigars, legends. That's Fuente. And I know they go based off of that. But I just wish they were at a better price point, especially with some of their better stuff. And I know they're using premium tobacco and they got all the connections and all that. But if I had a chance that I could smoke God of Fire on a regular basis, I would. I would. It's so good. But yeah. Oh, Freddie Mercury was phenomenal as a singer. Like he's phenomenal. But as much as I like Freddie Mercury and the power in Freddie Mercury's voice, I can't put him in a class with Marvin Gaye because Marvin Gaye is like I listen to Marvin Gaye acapellas. And I listen to him like all the background music and singing that you hear on the Marvin Gaye album, that's all Marvin. Every single tone is Marvin. Like that's like, dude is unreal. Y'all ever see the video where Marvin Gaye is singing I Want You and he's laying on the couch and he's singing I Want You and it's like just like the album, and he's killing it, and he's laying on his side. Freddie Mercury had a voice that was like that too, but I couldn't just listen to Freddie Mercury just by himself. When Freddie Mercury is with, you know, just the whole band or he's controlling the crowd like live, Freddie Mercury is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to act like he is slouch. Marvin Gaye is on a different level, man. He said eggs in the Instapot. Texas, I don't know what you got going on, man. Let me see. Adam, I don't understand that comment, man. So like, run that one back by me. If you think, if you think you're lonely now, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up, Adam, because I literally go back and forth between the Bobby Womack and the KC joint, back and forth. I will play them back to back, trying to decide which one I like more. Same thing with Lately from Stevie Wonder and KC and JoJo doing Lately, and I don't know which one I like more. The thing about Bobby Womack, and so one thing about Bobby Womack too Sam Cooke is one of my favorite singers of all time too, and I'm gonna get into that why I brought Sam Cooke up in a train of thought. But Bobby Womack is one of the nastiest dudes too. Like when you know the Bobby Womack story, that's a nasty motherfucker, man. That's nasty work. But the feeling that he put into "If You Think You're Lonely Now," you could tell that's his song, right? But KC as a vocalist, just he took it into a new school level. It's the same song, and he didn't deviate too much from what Bobby Womack was doing. But I think KC had the better voice. But the emotion in what Bobby Womack put into that song is bananas. So I literally can't decide which one I like more. And I literally play those two back to back. I can just play them for hours on end, just going back and forth from one to the next. And I've been doing that for years, and I can't figure out which one I like more. I'm so glad you brought that one up, Adam. But with Bobby Womack, the song that he got, what is that joint? I Wish You Didn't Trust Me So Much. That's a real song. The whole time, Bobby was sleeping with his best friend's wife, which was Sam Cooke. And when Sam Cooke got murdered, he showed up to Sam Cooke's funeral with his wife and married his wife. That's some cold shit, bro. That's some cold shit. I can imagine doing that to one of my best friends, yo. That's a cold piece of work. Jerome said, I told you about my feedback on the Night Commander. You know I had to get a box of 12. That Night Commander is major, bro. That Night Commander, yeah, you did tell me. And that Night Commander is the real deal. I didn't like the Sinjur or whatever that joint was. That was too peppery for me. It was a little bit too harsh. That Night Commander, I would take that any day. I don't blame you for buying a box of that shit. I love that cigar. Once again, cost-wise, box-wise, it's a beautiful thing. It's too expensive for me. And I think even still that I still think that's a good investment. Like, I got dark as hell out here in the sun. Look at that shit. I'm almost the same color as my shirt. But that Night Commander, yo, that's the real deal. I'm not mad at you on that one, Jerome. Kanye got hit with a lawsuit today. For real? I didn't see that. Kanye got hit with a lawsuit today. Lady claims he was pleasuring himself on phone calls and sending insane texts. I believe it. Just the stuff that Ye has been doing with the new girlfriend, the Kim Kardashian lookalike chick, and just the way he's been kind of caught out there, I believe it. And I think a lot of it has to do with his mental health, man. Kanye is really going down bad right now, man. And I feel bad because he really just mentally is not there. And it's crazy to see him spiraling out of control like that. And I don't think it's just him just being like Puff is lucid. Puff is lucid. Kanye is not lucid. And it's tragic, man, because he really needs help. But I think it's a medication issue. It's about to get real spooky for Kanye right now. I didn't know about that, dude. I didn't know about that at all. Womack had a song called I Really Think He Shouldn't Trust Me So Much. See, Jerome, you talking? Yeah, see? I didn't see that when I made that comment. JB said KC and JoJo lately live is fire. That's one of my favorites, man. Like the first time that I saw that on Unplugged when I watched it, I actually went out and bought the maxi single of that on cassette. And I remember playing that back and forth in my homeboy's house. I would play it all day, and I still go back and listen to it. That's that, and I love Stevie. Stevie is one of my favorites. I got the whole vinyl collection down there of his classic period. Music of My Mind, Talking Book, Fulfilling His First Finale. Which one am I forgetting? Songs in the Key of Life. And there's one more that I'm missing out of that. I got all of them downstairs. I love Stevie, but I think KC and JoJo watched them on that song. And that hurts me to say, but I think they watched them. That boy was a certified, hellified womanizer. Facts. Didn't Sam Cooke wife also date Bobby's brother too. I heard that, Rob. I heard that. I don't know that one for sure, but I did hear that too. That's his rare air. You actually know music. Big ups, dude. My pops, man. Before my pops passed away, my pops was a music head, man. You know, and I just came from that era. Like most of the vinyl that I got down there, not all of it, most of the vinyl I got down there came from my dad's collection. My dad was, you know, he had the old JBC tuner set, the big speakers. So me and my brother used to just sit back after my pops passed, man, and just go through the albums that we had left. So my god brother, his dad borrowed some of my dad's albums, and his place got robbed in Newport News, and they took all my dad's albums. I never got them back, and he lent some to my cousin, his first cousin, Pops. He lended some of his albums out to him, and I never got those albums back. So the albums that I got from my dad, Minnie Riperton, I got Minnie Riperton down there. I got Teddy Pendergrass, Rod Stewart, Rolling Stones. Like, I got some heat down there, man. Like, it's some real heat. And I just go through his vinyl and I just listen to his music all the time. And that's how I got put on to Marvin Gaye. I have an original print of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, and from my dad's collection. That's like a prized possession. And a quick story, when I was a butcher, I took that album in. So we used to have a record player in my butcher shop, and we used to like my chef, he loved the Temptations. He loved David Ruffin. So we used to go back and forth who was better between David Ruffin and Marvin Gaye. So I brought in my classic Marvin Gaye album, and this little kid hopped on that joint and scratched up my Marvin Gaye album, man. That shit hurt me. But he was a kid, man. He didn't know what he was doing. But anyway, that's how I got into music, man. I love music. I don't listen to music as much as I used to, but I'm a music head, man. That's why when I was doing that thing on Instagram, when I was doing, you know, music to smoke cigars to, I just wanted to create that vibe for y'all too. Like when I get in my bag and I get in my vibe, and I'm listening to Tim's, I'm listening to Tyler the Creator, I'm listening to The Weeknd, I'm listening to Marvin, Stevie, like Sade, Whitney, like Luther, you know, like that's my shot. Like, it's nothing like sitting back and just having a great cigar and just putting on some like real tunes. Bob Marley, I get into it, bro. Buju Banton, I get in my bag, man. Sorry, I got stuff popping up, so I can't read y'all comments. All right, man. About to finish the night with. What you about to finish with, Ricky? I worry Kanye will self-delete. He surrounds himself with some of the worst people. Yeah, I'm kind of scared of that in the cars. I don't know if Kanye is built like that, but when you look at the track record, like we was talking about with Marvin Gaye, or so many musical geniuses that were in the 27 Club, and how many of them that went down that lane, or not even just that. When you think about geniuses like Anthony Bourdain or Robin Williams, and when they deal with all that stuff in the mental health and they deal with the drugs, it happens, man. And I'm scared that he might do that, but it's also a part of me that don't feel like he's built that way. Hotter than July with Stevie. I got that album downstairs too. Hotter than July, and I put that in his classic period because that's one of his best albums. It's easily one of his best albums. And the thing about it is, it's not considered one of those 5 albums that was in his classic period. And he did the Musicarium joint right after that, which now that I'm getting older and more mature, I appreciate that Stevie album a lot more, but it's not as good as the first 5, and it's not as good as Hotter Than July. Hotter Than July is the album that I absolutely love. I got an original print of that too. That's my dad's copy. Got an original print of that joint. I love that bad boy. Me and my boys like Jodeci, but it's close second. Love both of them for sure. Great for sure. Yeah, and I feel you on that one, Adam. It's like Jodeci is extremely underrated too. Just as far as Diary of a Mad Band, Forever My Lady, like they got literally classic albums, right? And to be able to do covers of somebody like Bobby Womack and to do covers of Stevie Wonder and to make it sound just as good as them, that's the same thing though. Like drugs, man, the way drugs take away some of our greatest musicians is nuts, man. Because as much as I love Casey and JoJo, they can't get busy now because they done mess their bodies up with drugs, man. It's crazy. JoJo can't even sing anymore. JoJo had so many strokes that he can't even perform. And it's like you got to take care of yourself. I look at now, man. I'm at the age where a lot of my favorite artists were when I thought they were old men, and some of them were still performing. They were still out there putting out great music. And I'm older than some of them now. And you think about it at the time, like in a few years, I'm gonna be in that place where they are right now. And a lot of our, favorite musicians are either dead or they so messed up on drugs that they can't even perform. So I'm at a place like I got to keep my body healthy, man. That's why y'all hear me talk about the gym and what I eat and all that kind of shit all the time. I just don't want to ever get to that point where, like, when I'm 60, 70 years old, I'm trying to look like, what's my man from Ghostbusters and The Crow, Ernie, I can't think of what his last name is right now, but I'm trying to look like him when I get 50, 60, 70 years old. Dennis Brown. Who brought up Dennis Brown? Hold up. That Bourdain strategy fucked me up, though. That was my dude. Same here, man. As a culinarian, as an artist, that was my guy, man. So that one hurt my feelings too, man. Let me see what it. Let's see. Blame it on the Illuminati. That's funny. The mental is crazy. I know people that end up committing because allegations that aren't even true. Yeah, man, because you put yourself in a lot of bad positions when you're not conscious enough to understand what you're doing. So that happens, man. So like, it's hard to promote your truth when nobody's gonna believe you because you can't even believe yourself half the time because sometimes you were unconscious when you were doing wild shit. And y'all know I talked about my boy Money and the stuff that he was dealing with drugs and schizophrenia. They ended my homeboy in a hotel, and I still to this day don't know what happened to him. And he had so much stuff going on that I don't know if he was at fault, if he was not at fault. That's another crazy thing. Dennis Brown, Ani Kamosi, and Coco T, Garnet Silk. That's some real. You got to mention U-Roy too. That's some real roots reggae right there. Ani Kamosi, like, I love Dennis Brown. I love Gregory Isaacs. Garnet Silk, Buru Banton, like, those cats that I grew up on. But Ani Kamosi, out of all of them, is probably the most slept on. Ani gets busy. Then, like, Gregory Isaacs, Luciano, Dennis Brown. Dennis Brown is like the father of all of them cats, really, when you think about it. But it's kind of crazy that Ani Kamosi doesn't get the love because everybody knows Ani Kamosi when he tried to cross over into the United States. Everybody thinks of Hot Stepper, but they're not thinking about World of Music, Ani Kamosi. Like, I don't know if you ever went back and listened to his remake album called Debut. Ani is like one of my favorites of all time, straight up and down. I love that I can sit back and talk music with y'all too, not just on some surface stuff, man. This is stuff. This is why I do these lives, man. This is why I do these lives, so just sit back, smoke good cigars, and talk to y'all about the shit that this is the stuff that you're supposed to talk about when you're talking about cigars. I can do this all day. I love this shit. That lady released text that he supposedly sent. He's saying that his penis is racist and he enjoys beating into white women. I believe it. God damn, Kanye. But if you just, God damn, Kanye. Fuck, dude. But like, yo, if you look at Kanye's track record with the ladies that he's dated, especially since he had that bad breakup with his girl, and then he did My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and he was with what's the other girl's name? With the Cape Verdean girl. What's her name? Amber Rose. From Amber Rose on. Just look at Kanye track record, man. When I get off of this live, I'm gonna have to go online and look up all of that, those texts and all that kind of stuff. I ain't know anything about that. I've been out today. My son got AB honor roll today. And so I had to go out before I got here. I had to go out to his award ceremony, man. So that was like big because I really want my kids to focus on school and their grades and be a lot better than I was when I was in school. I was a weird artist kid, man. The only thing I cared about was drawing and girls, man. That's all I cared about. And I want him to have a different focus. So my son getting that AB honor roll today, that's all I focus on. I didn't go online. I didn't turn on the PlayStation. I didn't turn on YouTube. I didn't do any of that. So this is the first time that I'm getting any kind of feedback with the real world is talking to y'all right now. So I got to catch up on all this Kanye stuff. That's crazy. What he's saying in the course is that one, he's crazy. You got to put that into context too. But then in the sense that he's saying that he's only attracted to white women and lighter skinned women, that he ain't even thinking about black women when he's a black man, which is and then when you think about the stuff that he was doing with Candace Owens and White Lives Matter and the Trump thing, like Kanye wilding right now, man. And as much as I love Kanye, I know he's not healthy. When I see Kanye, when I see Jaguar Wright, when I see Orlando Brown, I see the same thing that my boy that had mental health. I see money. Like all the stuff that he was going through, all the stuff that he was saying when he wasn't lucid, is the same type of stuff that they say. And it's the same, like the mannerisms are the same. And it's just like when your brain isn't healthy, man, it's just like some wild stuff can come out, yo. It's wild. Like, Kanye, what you doing, man? It's crazy. Whole nother level. Whole different level, man. But you got to think about, like, for real, the human brain is already fascinating as it is. But then when you have someone that is literally on a genius level, like not throwing that out there, in a sense, like maybe more say a savant. Like you have some people who are literally savants, that the way they hear music, the way they see colors, the way they can have mathematical talent, or like when people are savants, you think about the Albert Einsteins and Salvador Dali's, or you think about the Kanye West, the Stevie Wonders, the people that Prince, that can play multiple instruments, that can be polyglots, that can speak multiple languages, or just like to be able to create on that level and to think on that level. Most people aren't thinking in that stratosphere and not operating like that. So when you're walking around amongst millions of other people and they don't see the world the way that you do, that has to be isolating and it has to be terrifying. But then they compound that with drugs and stuff that can take your mind and alter your mind and take it to a different level. It's at some point in time, these people are gonna break, and they're gonna have these lapses where you go, because I don't know if y'all remember when I was talking about my homie Money, and I can honestly say when I did the Smoke Your Best Cigars about him when he passed away, I was saying that he was literally one of the smartest human beings that I ever met. Like the way that this dude could get himself into and out of trouble, I've never seen anybody like it. He could talk his way out of anything. He could steal his way out of anything. He was when he was in school as a student, he was academically gifted. Like mathematically tested, he was academically gifted. He was brilliant. But he could not stay out of trouble because he was always like, his brain didn't operate and think like other human beings. And I could never get him to settle down because like my brain didn't think the way that he's is. I had more of a governor to say like, yo, we can't do this. I had more of a governor to say like, yo, had a strategy, and some of the stuff that he did, I was like, yo, how did you even think of that? You're brilliant. But he didn't always use it for good. And his dad, his brother, his uncle, all had some form of bipolar personality disorders or schizophrenia. And by the time he got into his mid-20s, it started clicking for him, and he just went off the deep end. He was still brilliant, but it's the same thing with Kanye. The Kanye that we knew from College Dropout and Homecoming and all that, that Kanye is gone because his brain is not the same. By the time Kanye got in his late 20s, that's when Kanye started wilding out. And I saw from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy the way his art changed. The look in his eyes changed, his body changed, and my homeboy did the same thing. He looked like a completely different person. You put up a picture of Kanye from his early 20s to now, he looked like a completely different human being. And it's funny how like your brain can alter how your body and your face looks. And it's just one of those things that happens, man. It's like sometimes you physically don't have the capacity to keep up with your own intelligence. I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing. And I feel the same way about myself, what you're saying, CK. And I know I see things a little bit differently. And honestly, I feel like that's what allows me to be able to come up here and talk for 3 hours and have conversations with you guys. And to keep 25 people on right now, it's not easy to do. I'm not like I'm a big celebrity or something like that. But I feel like I always have a perspective on a lot of things that's happening because I was always trying to put it into my poetry. I was always trying to put it into the art that I was drawing or anything that I was trying to create. My daughter, my baby girl, is the same way. Like she's crazy with the stuff that she comes up with when she can just get into her own little bubble and she will come up with stuff. And I'm just like, yo, you are brilliant. But you also can get lost in your own world when you're an artist too. You also can get lost into that creating and the way that the way people walk. One of the strangest things that I ever did is I met my wife on the internet. This is early 2000s. She was living in Cali. I was living in Virginia Beach at the time. And I studied her so much that when she would call me, my wife likes to wear high heels. And when we would sit on the phone, we would talk. I would listen to her walk while she was on the phone. And I knew exactly how she could walk. I knew like how her body moved because I studied people drawing people so much and drawing portraits and gestures and movement and all that. And I studied like the rhythm of her walk, just the same way that I study music and shit. So the first time I met her, I drove all the way from Virginia Beach to New York. And I got lost in Philly. And I didn't get into New York until like midnight. And I was on the phone with her trying to figure out where she was because I hadn't been to her house yet or anything like that. This is when we were still dating. And I saw this girl walking on the street from the back. And I looked at the way she walked and I was like, that's her. Whipped the car around, pulled up to her. It was my girlfriend, now wife at the time. Just because listening to her walk over the phone, I studied her so much that I knew how she walked. And I picked out on the street in New York. All these people walking in New York. Perfect stranger at that time. And I could pick her out. You think differently when you're an artist, man. Like you study shit in a different way. And I'm not saying that to sound like I'm arrogant or something like that. It's just literally like the shit that like the way you hone in on things when you study mid-tones. And like even when I'm watching myself up here, I'm thinking about drawing myself because I'm trying to understand the lighting and the shading and all that kind of stuff. Like you think in a different way. It's crazy. And I know I'm losing people right now. I'm sorry, but getting off on a tangent. But it's just a fascinating thing, man. It's just I hope the best for Kanye, but I don't think that story gonna end well. You think Puff is gonna end bad? Kanye's story, it's gonna be crazy, man. Anyway, y'all throw some more cigar stuff, right? Van Gogh, big facts on Van Gogh, big facts. Absolute genius, but his mind separated. To self mutilate, it's crazy. Robin Williams, he thought on a completely different plane from everybody else, man. His comedy was completely different from everybody else. It's just fascinating to get into that. I'm getting down to the tail end of this, man. I think I'm gonna shut it down. People kind of starting to fade out anyway. So, but before I go, I still got a few more puffs on this thing, and plus it's starting to unravel. Give me some more cigar talk, man. What else y'all want to talk about real quick before I get up out of here? It ain't got to just be cigars. I do want to say that these street tacos are not for me. I didn't get much out of it. It smoked beautifully, man, and it's starting to unravel. But the construction over the majority of the cigar was still damn good. But it's just the flavors is not hitting for me. I kind of wish I picked a different cigar. I don't even know how to describe what flavors I'm getting out of this thing. It's not much at all. Damn, man, y'all kicking it with me on a Monday night, man. That's some wild shit. He said Tesla fell in love with a bird, like a actual bird, or or we using that in the colloquial sense. She was a bird. I didn't know about this one. I never heard this one before. Once again, that's a fascinating mind, though. And Tesla didn't get a lot of love for the stuff that he actually, invented and was working on. That's some sad shit. Let's see what we got next. Disappointed. I can't say I'm surprised. Like, I need to go back into the Padron line again because Padron bored me so much that I really stopped smoking it. And everybody was telling me like the 80th is great, and people have been going off on the 1964 as of late. But when I had that one too, the 45 and the 50th, they bored me. So I'm not mad at that at all, man. I kind of feel the same way, man. It's just to me, I only get like wood, coffee, and that's really about it. They always smoke really well though. Adam said he got a last call. Good way to end the night. It's a really good budget cigar, man. That like I haven't had a last call in a while, but that's a cigar that like if somebody is a budget smoker and you go to their crib and they got a whole bunch of budget cigars like lot 40s or whatever, Foundation, Charter Oaks, some Buffalo 10s, shit like that. I'll pick that up and smoke it. I'll smoke a last call. I think AJ got busy with those. I need you to smoke that RP white label, my G. It's coming, bro. I know I keep saying that it's coming, man, because it's literally in the front of like I got all my Placencias sitting with my Dunbartons, and it's sitting at the front, man. Because every time I open that drawer, I pick it up and I end up putting it back down. And I know you love that cigar, and I know it got to be good if you're telling me that. I'm gonna get to it. If you know, said it's an actual bird. I'm gonna have to look that up later too. I didn't know about that story. Rob Mack, peace and blessings, man. Shouts out to Chicago. I need to get back out of Chicago, man. Me and my wife been talking about it. I just want to eat my way through Chicago. And for real, what I want to do, I want to get one of those sandwiches that y'all dip in the au jus. I want to get one of them joints, and I want a deep dish, Chicago style pizza. Last time I was out there, I had one. I know people hate on Chicago pizza. I think they actually damn good, man. Padron 1926, 40 years, my favorite. I don't think I had the 40 year for that one, but the 1926 didn't do it for me, man. I like them. It's just, I think they're just overrated. Intercall said, I love the last call. They leave a nice coating of oil on the mouth. You know what? It's kind of fascinating to be like a budget cigar. They do have really good leaves on them, surprisingly. I don't know what makes them budget. I don't know what it is in the construction that does that, but I think they smoke really well and they hold up really well. And I don't know where it is. When we did the Steve Saka show the other day, here it is. It's down here. I didn't get to finish it. But damn, hold up. All right. But Matt gave us these Ron Mexicos, like $1.50 cigar. This shit was actually damn good. It was a good cigar. Sometimes it ain't got to be about, having the most premium tobacco and shit. You just have, good tobacco, roll good, smoke good. So I'm never mad at a last call. I wasn't mad at that Ron Mexico. $1.50 for a cigar. And that shit was like, I didn't even want to put it out because we did it as a joke, just trying to mess with Steve Saka. And everybody lit it up. And I was like, God damn, this is actually pretty damn good. I will keep smoking it. Just smoked the CAO Cameroon anniversary. What you think about that Cameroon? I haven't had that one in a while. And I definitely haven't had it as an anniversary. So was it top notch? Was it solid? Was it good Cameroon? Try the 40 year. It'll change your mind. If I can find it, the chance of me spending money on it is slim to none, though. You know what the MSRP was on that? The Legend of Ron Mexico. Hey, man, that cigar was it was meant to be a joke, man. It was meant to be a joke. And Matt sent it to everybody just as a joke, just being funny. And he and, what's Joe? I can't think of Joe's online name, but y'all know Joe. But he and Matt did that joint, and they were like, "Oh shit, this is actually a good cigar." And we thought they were playing. I smoked that cigar. I was like, "God damn, that shit is actually good." 31? I don't know, bro. I don't know. If that cigar ever came around, I would smoke it. If I catch it on a deal, I ain't dropping $30 right now on that cigar. I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be 100. I ain't dropping 30. It's very few cigars that I'm gonna spend $30 for. Very few. Very few. And I'm probably gonna put myself in a hole because so many of these different brands are trying to put themselves in that stratosphere where all the cigars got to be $30, $40. I'm about to be ass out. And just hope whatever this supply is that I got downstairs will last me for a while. Where I've been smoking lately, that shit ain't gonna happen. We having the monthly cigar and dinner events at the embassy, right? Yeah, you put me onto that. One of the guests gifted me a Bahique 54, but it didn't have no band. The size was closer to a Bahique 56. He might have just had it wrong, man. Hopefully, he's not jiving you. And, where you are, it should be easy to get that, man. Just smoke that bad boy and enjoy it, man. I hope it lives up to the hype. What up, Scotty? That's spam right there, y'all. Shit. I bought this the Fuente Siglo it was close to $50. It wasn't quite $50 because of the yen rate. I bought it here in Japan. I bought one for myself and I bought one for Matt. That was probably the most expensive cigar that I spent my own money on. So, but what gave it away was the fact that it didn't have the three rings that most Cubans. Oh, it didn't have a triple cap. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think you caught it. I think you caught that. That was a good eye too, to be able to. And I don't think a lot of people are checking for the triple cap either. That was a good call. So my thing is, Jerome, when you got the cigar and you scoped it out, did you say to him like, "Yo, man, I don't know about this one," or did you just like, "Hey, thanks, bro, appreciate it," just tuck it in the back pocket? How you handle that? I highly doubt that's farm roll, bro, especially for a Behike. I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's like it's so easy for people to counterfeit these cigars right now, man. But that don't sound good to me, man. You're not getting too many Cubans, especially a premium Cuban without having the triple cap. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but the chances of that being the real deal is slim to none. He said, "Nah, I kept a G. That's what's up. Big respect, though." I don't know, but like this dude gave me a Cohiba before I knew a lot about cigars, and now with my knowledge, I know it wasn't a real Cuban. But I sat out on my balcony, smoked that cigar back when I lived in Norfolk. I enjoyed the cigar, man. It was good. I don't know what kind of cigar it was. I don't know what the hell I smoked, but it smoked well. It tasted good. It was oily. It burned properly. You might enjoy the cigar regardless. He said, "I ain't bust him out at the time. It's a time and place, as you know, for sure." And that's what I was talking about this whole thing, man. It's timing is everything, man. Yeah, man. I don't know about that cigar. He got it from the DR. I don't know about that one, bro. Yeah. But now he probably thought you ain't no better, but he probably ain't no better himself, man. It's tough, man. It's real tough. It's real tough. And it's the little details. Just you having the knowledge that you got on cigars and being able to check out that cap like that. Most people wouldn't have took the time to look for that. Straight up. So that's what they say, knowledge is key, knowledge is power. Just knowing the little details. And that's probably the only way you really gonna be able to tell anyway, unless you really like know, Behikes well enough to just be able to smell the cigar. That's the only way you really gonna know. It is what it is, man. Y'all got anything else? This cigar is literally holding on by a thread. Look at this. I really didn't expect to go 3 hours tonight. Said, "This is a fake Rolex. It's a fake Rolex, but a fake Cuban cigar is made up of God knows what shavings." Yeah, it could be. That's the thing. That's the thing. Sometimes it's not that bad. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're smoking dust. That's you put that watch on, you'll be fine. You smoke that cigar, it could be bad, bro. Said he nubbed it out. Hey, man, sometimes it's the luck of the draw. So, what I'm about to do, man, I'm gonna go down here and make some tacos. If y'all saw the video, man, I was on the grill last night, man. I made some carne asada, and I made some grilled chicken. I'm gonna make some tacos, get some protein in my system. I got some low carb tortillas, and I'm gonna sit back and eat that taco and play Jedi Survivor. And of course, said real Cubans only come in glass top boxes, and I sold on the beach in Mexico by a guy named Sanchez. I ain't trying to sound like no elitist. I'm just saying, no, they look. Sometimes, man, you gotta have standards, and that's not being elitist. No, I respect everything you're saying right now, bro. I ain't taking it like that. If you know, said I'm eating tacos right now. I'm about to join you, homie. All right, man, get that rest, bro. Get that rest. Once again, as we always do, there's 19 people holding on. Y'all gave me 54 likes. Y'all gave me some great conversations. Y'all let me, kind of talk through some things. We talk sports, we talk cigars, we talk soccer, we talk industry. You talk truth. I always appreciate y'all, man. And I don't know when the next time I'm gonna do this live. My schedule has been real busy. If I get a chance, I'll come back this weekend. I don't know if I'll do it like one midweek. I highly doubt it, just because the schedule coming up is bananas. But I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Thank y'all for spending this much time with me. Shouts out to my homie T that came up in here, Lee Barnes. Shout out to Scotty. It's my fan. I appreciate y'all joining in. All of y'all, man. Thank y'all for being so deep and introspective and supporting the channel. It means a lot to me, bro. It means everything. Straight up and down. Y'all have a good night. Get some rest. Always smoke your best, man. Whether it's Padron, whether it's Fuente, whether it's a last call, whether it's Rojas, whatever it is that's your best, smoke your best cigars, man. Y'all be easy. Z, you have a good one too, man. Y'all stay up. Jerome, peace. Intercast, peace. I'm up out of here.